Hello, hello, hello to my wonderful subscribers out there. Today I have with me India Did It, Joe, the BMT fam.
What's going on? What's
Toast.
going on, y'all? What's going on, y'all?
Okay, today we will be discussing the step parent household and statistics about single parent households, the socioeconomic status, and newfound research that the single parent father household is increasing, um things like that. So let's get right into it. Okay, so we already know, according to statistics, and I'll put that in quotation marks, that children in single mother families typically have poor outcomes across a range of measures than those living with both parents. But the main thing that factors into that is low income. But and this was a study that was done like in 2009. So we in 2022 right now. And I'm not going to say that is no longer the case for most, but we have seen an increase in women's income because now there are more women entrepreneurs and things like that. Um, where women's income is steadily growing. Now I did read that in the single father household, they typically have a higher income than single mother families. So, Joe, what do you think about that?
About the fathers having a higher um, income than the stepmothers. Than the mothers do.
Yes.
I already knew about that. I already knew well in advance from the fathers that I know that have their children. Majority of them are not on government. Majority of them are not on government assistance. And not on government assistance. They're not getting any type of aid. Um, ooh, they're not
Oh,
getting any
hold up.
type.
Indy, I'm finna mute you because we can hear all the
Unit. All right.
But yeah, most single parent fathers make more than enough that they don't actually pull from that of the welfare state. They just want their kid, and they'll just say, "I just had to put in extra hours, put in extra effort of work." Versus that of the single mothers, they easily are more. And I know people don't want to say, "Well, the welfare state's not biased," but we already know more women are using that of the welfare state to allocate for their families than the man do. The man looked at it more so of, "Hey, I got my kid. I'm just have to get it out the mud. I just got to put in extra hours, probably work a 12 hour or work a double." You know what I'm saying? And that would be it. So I've always seen that for the most part for a lot of men I know that have their kid. You just don't see it well reported because they're not mainly out there. They might have a girlfriend, their mama. They might send the kids off to, if any of y'all have any brothers that have their kids, they send out to their mom or their sister, and they'll go to work and just make up the cost. So it's kind of been like that for a while. Men have the money just to put it in their household. It's not being reported.
right. Um okay, to get right on into the topic, um because we both know that two incomes are better than one.
Right.
So um we were talking about something earlier as far as relating to the kids, and as far as like what you were saying, like the kids calling a person mom or dad. But of course we disagreed. um which that's a little slippery slope, because if like for instance, with me and Fernell, my children were older when we had gotten married. So they had already had a relationship with their dad. But they still view Fernell as their dad, even though they still called their dad. And all the stuff that happened with that. He passed earlier this year. But it's I feel like it's more difficult when the children are older and they already have a relationship with their biological dad, for them to call someone else dad when a new man comes into their life.
Now, let me ask a question. Why is that more of a conflict? Why is that more of a conflict? And Super Mike, if you can come up, please come up. We definitely want to have men on this panel. Chad, if you could drop the link in the chat for Super Mike.
Okay, yeah.
Why is that a conflict for that as if we are two joining households, for your children to honor that as I am that title as father. You ain't gotta call me daddy, you know what I'm saying? But either I'm dad or I'm dad or father, you know what I'm saying? Because I am in that role.
Right.
In that role. So if I'm in that role of owning responsibility for you, for the children, for anything else that we do, then yes, the formalities of Mr. BMT, no, because it's more of an intimate connection now. I'm your daddy now. I'm your father. Now I understand I may be not your biological father, but I'm in another realm of guardianship now. We're not just courting. We're not just dating. We're not just having sex. I'm actually the father in your children's life. So I look at that as more of an intimate demand of, if something were to happen to them, if there was something going on in the hospital, I'll be damned if you call the dude who ain't in the home there before you call me. You ain't gonna, because whatever affects you, if we had a child support issue, guess who's gonna be standing right there, standing by me at a child support court hearing? You. But they're gonna say, well, who's the stepmother? They ain't gonna say who's Miss Charity. They're gonna say who's the stepmother. The court's gonna look at you as the mother. And they're gonna look at me as, well, do you have their father in the house? They ain't gonna say, is there a mister in the house?
Say that because we actually go to court tomorrow for my stepson, and my children respect my husband as their dad, but they just they don't call him dad. But everything else, as far as the respect level, as far as the way they interact, like he goes to all of the parent teacher meetings and things like that, but they just don't call him dad. And especially for Journey, it's kind of touchy because her dad passed away earlier this year, and it's not so touchy for Jaden, but
how old are they?
12 and 11.
Okay, yeah, because those situations tend to get usually in the teenage years after he done put in all the work of raising a child. Now, if one of the children's fathers passed away, it's kind of totally different.
Well, it's both of their father.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't have a bunch of different daddies over here.
I mean, I'm just saying that
I won't
just general situations, but yeah, that's a little different situation than a lot of folks, because some folks do have the other parent somewhere else, and but they're just not around. So yeah, I mean, the thing is that father, even though you might say there's a respect, but if that guy is doing daddy work, just from experience, it's something in the middle of his heart that's like, maybe, it's something that maybe I'm not gonna be your biological daddy, but you know, there's some kind of maybe father or something. It's like there's a certain respect level terminology. Yeah, like don't call me by my first name. I'll say it that way. That's yeah, I'm just putting that out there. That's just something that's from my experience of raising, you know, someone else's children. And yeah, I got respected, but you know, towards when they got older, like 17 and stuff, you know, then when you know you start having the real extra problems because the pressure is on because you know biology and people calling you by your first name, that kind of makes a guy feel a certain kind of way.
Right. And I mean, I told them if they weren't comfortable saying like daddy or dad, they can call him Papa Bear, and stuff like that. Cause definitely like my children are not disrespectful at all and they understand boundaries. So it's never been a problem with disrespect or anything like that. But me and Joe were having a discussion earlier as far as like the daddy thing.
I just look at it. I mean, I just look at it like this: that as a man, if you ain't calling me dad or something like that, I think there's something of a reserve protection barrier that we truly don't see each other as a kinship or a holistic tribe. And I'm being honest because most men, when a child start calling them dad or that's my pop or something like that, it's a different reaction to duty versus, oh, that's my mom's husband. Well, shit. Okay, if that's my mom's husband, then we just only joined because of that person. I'm not bound by anything else. You just a check.
I think titles are truly important to you, Josiah. Like seriously, that title is truly important. Like Jerry said,
titles are important to men.
A lot of guys. Yeah, it is. It's something. It's something there.
It's a formality of. That's what I said. Like when we ask, like, where's the men at? Men care about the titles. Men care about titles.
I'm seeing a comment, Sugar Bum. I would never tell childless people to be a step parent. We aren't talking about childless people. That's not a part of the factor here. I give that same advice to my childless friends. All of my friends that don't have kids, I tell them don't fuck with nobody that got kids already because y'all starting off unequally yoked.
And the thing about it is this, and here's the thing about it. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of men have dated or have been involved with women with children.
Right here,
and have stepped in.
Right here, I have no children,
and not play daddy, but assume the role as daddy, and the kids will look around and say, "Well, shit, I don't see nobody else." And you know, the kids actually, what the kids start doing, Mike, they start calling the men what? Dad. They just start calling them that.
I'm just going to say, because I'm at work and I'm just on a little break real quick and I do got to go. Thanks for coming up on my show last night. But I got a little show that I kind of talked about this on my little channel. Regardless of what people say out their mouth with men, especially black men, respect is gold.
Yes.
Respect is gold. If you can get right off the bat, if you respect that man, as far as, I mean, I'm talking about a male or female, respect another man. You know, and when I say respect him as a man, respect his work, respecting. When you got people that, if that guy is taking something, you know, he's taking something as disrespect, even if he looks past it because he know maybe if it's kind of small, but if he's feeling it in his heart as disrespect, it's like a little buildup. And after however long, and something happens, some little argument happens or whatever, that's gonna come up. And I don't care how stupid it sounds, how dumb it sounds, if in his heart, you know, mentally he might say this is dumb, but in his heart, he's like, I feel a little disrespected here. If he's passing that up, then it's going to build up. And that's something that's just, you know, it's just something to think about. It's just something to think about.
That's what I'm saying. Like, y'all, I get y'all saying that but I've been there and I've seen that happen. I've seen that where it happened when you start getting angry.
To shout out his channel. Is he coming back?
Oh, I got you. Super Mike. I got him. Like I said, I definitely want to get. He has a lot of good words, wisdom. But I get what India said. It seemed like it means a lot to you, Joe. It do, because I see a lot of men that they are interested in the woman, in the child, but they're afraid that if I step into that role and I put my heart into it, and then all of a sudden, the best way you can inflict harm to me will say, well, you not the daddy anyway, or you not the anyway. Then what the fuck am I doing this for? Why are you asking me?
Well, I feel like when a lot of kids get to that point, not to cut you off, I'm sorry. I feel like when a lot of people get to that point, when kids get to that point, that's because they see the mother disrespect the man. Okay? Most of the times when children are dealing with your significant other, which AKA could be stepfather, whatever, when they see the woman respect that man, they respect him as well. But if he's a disrespected man, the children disrespect him as well.
Right. I can understand that.
Can you hear me?
Listen, this is one of the reasons why a lot of my male friends say that they don't want to date like women with kids, because they damn kids be so bad and they be disrespectful.
Well, I feel I put a limit on how many kids I'm willing to take on, and that's just law for me. Cause I have one kid and my kid is grown, so too many kids, yeah, it can be, because especially if y'all not taking those kids to therapy, getting help for them mentally and stuff like that, that takes a toll on them. And I have zero tolerance for disrespectful kids. Period. Call your mom.
Now, let's get at that. Let's get at that, because we're now looking at it right now at a society where these young adolescents who are now 19, 20, to me, I'm sorry, a 21 or 23-year-old, you're not grown yet. You just now putting your foot into the pond. You just putting your foot into the pond of life. Like, we thought we were, hey, I'm grown at 21, 23, but we still would check it back in with people who are way more grounded to try to figure shit out. Like, motherfuckers, we were still trying to figure out taxes or how to do certain things with what we thought we knew about our careers or our business, or getting into business or job or budgeting. If you didn't have the proper type of foundation under you, then you're like, shit, what I thought I knew, I didn't have a real grasp on, and you still trying to figure it out. But then
I definitely agree. I told my daughter not too long ago, you're not grown. You're not grown until you get out of here and pay all your bills and understand what life is actually about.
Right. Don't call me when you lacking on that grocery bill, or you lacking on, I need help with my tires or gas. And now some people have it, but I see whenever I'm at the clubs and stuff, a girl say, well, I'm grown. Baby, you 21. I'm a grown. I got a job and I got me a car, but you live with your mama. Stop it. Your mama paid the majority of the bills. She helped you get this car. I'm not shooting you down. I'm respectful of what you're doing. Well, I'm going to school right now to get my associate. That's very good. That's very good. But you still have ways to go. You still wet to the world. You still calling this boy up to come to the club to pay for you to get inside. You can barely afford them drinks for you and your friends. Chill out. Chill out, little mama. Just like I got to tell a lot of young men, they think because they hit 18, they done seen the world. So I understand, let's say for a single parent household, that boy a lot of men, when they're young and they see mama working, psychologically, some men feel like they are the men of the household. And it's a different threshold when an actual man comes into the home, right? And the boy is feeling like, damn, mama used to have a certain type of relationship with me, calling me for the trash and do certain stuff as the young man of the household. You know, and we got a bad habit where a lot of women say this is the king of the household. I'm like, that's your son. Your son ain't no damn man.
Yeah.
Like,
But you know what? Not to
Mhm.
cut you off. I'm sorry. Let me wait my turn. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Because I don't want to come off like that. I kid you not. I was telling Charity this the other day. A lot of women regard their boys, their sons, as their husbands. And it's the God honest truth. And what you said, it was a mouthful, because women do feel like that. A lot of single women feel like my boy is the king of the castle and this, that, and the other. So if he's been told that for so long, that you're the king of the castle, and when she finally get a man, they don't have no respect. They don't. And it's difficult for women to even maintain relationship with young men, based on that technicality of mama always intervening like that's her husband or something. I dismiss men for that. Like, nah, I respect your mom, but y'all have boundaries. Your mom can't pull that same stuff once you're with me, period. Now, we gonna still do for moms, but hey, it's a limit to that. And I've heard out of a lot of women mouth that they raise their sons for themselves and not to be married. Now, real spill, my next door neighbor is very successful. My next door neighbor to my left been in that neighborhood since the 70s. So she was giving me the rundown on a lot of things. I wondered why my successful neighbor never got married. Okay? And my neighbor to the left, who's been there around there since the neighbor to the right was 14, straight up told me he never got married because his mama said no woman was good enough for her son. And we have a lot of women that are raising their boys for themselves. They are not raising them to take on responsibility with no other woman outside of him having a good time for his sex and, all that other extra stuff. But really being responsible for a woman, no. I've experienced that personally.
But a lot of that's not just a here thing either. Like, you could tell, like, even the mamas on the internet, a lot of them be sexualizing these kids. Oh, my little sexy man, and all of that stuff. Yeah, they not training them to be good husbands for other women. They want them
They're
to
really
grow
not.
up and tell them.
I think one of the
They're
things
really not. Go ahead, Josiah.
I mean, I look at it like a lot of men and women are not being trained for household material, of knowing how to properly navigate and being in a home, having conflict resolution skills. Yeah, that's a pretty big thing. Being able to, when you get angry, do you just storm out on the motherfucker, or do you actually sit down? If a situation happened, let's say the kids break the glasses, shit like that happens. Now that's $200. You got to come up. Do you start cursing out the child? Yeah, you're gonna get upset. Do you put your hand on the child? I have a thing where I do not discipline my child in anger.
Oh,
Now,
yeah, that's how people be snapping and beating them kids.
Now, but also another thing about it is do you have that type of communication with your mate, that if the child do something, do you trust them enough? I've seen people.
I don't know. Hold up, Sugar Bomb, ma'am. I don't know if you talking to me, but I'm not single. I'm married. The comment was, it's weird to listen to single women talk about what other single women do wrong. Click the link, sweetheart. You can find pictures.
Yeah, click the link and come on, baby, because I'm gonna need you to come through all the way through. Okay? So we can get this together. This is a discussion panel. We're not here to argue. We could agree to disagree. Just keep it respectful. You know, but click the link, babe. Come on, because I'm a single woman. Let's go. We got it all on
I
us.
don't know if she's talking to me or you, India, but and then
But I'm looking in the comments because you know you was like the comments be jumping. So I'm looking in the comments and I want to know what you mean by that. Come on.
I'm wondering who she talking to. Like
Wait.
She's 27, so come through.
Listen, y'all. Hold up. Now, y'all listen. Listen. Y'all do know Charity has helped me build this show way back when. I'm letting y'all know. I'm just letting y'all know.
We're not asking you what you said. We're asking who are you talking to, and put a specific question in because I'm confused. Like,
now, listen, y'all. I am doing collabs with India and Charity, and y'all understand. A lot of my people are coming back to do collabs with. Y'all best believe I'm not stopping nothing. I am just a co-host.
Look, she's single with no kids. She lonely with nothing else better to do. I'm just curious of what is she even talking about?
I get what.
Then by her being 27, like, come on, man, come on and have an adult conversation with her.
But here's the thing about it. We asked for balance, and you got a woman who is bringing balance and accountability about women that are raising their boys to be husbands. That's a true thing. You don't hear women actually call that shit out, but India's calling it out like, yo, that's fucking up for other women. Charity is very bad. Y'all can't get mad at the women that are being balanced about that. That is what it is. Like, I don't get it. Like, y'all want balance. What do y'all want? Bias? Like, this is not going to be the thing. So if y'all mad at a woman saying, hey, we got mothers training their sons to be husbands and be highly emotional and effeminate motherfucking bitches, I don't know what to tell you. Then all they want to do is fuck and make babies and run back to mama's house because they know that's their gatekeeping goddamn protectors. So, so we're trying to find out about. Listen, you guys, we're having a conversation about that, about stepfathers. Now I'm on the fence. I'm on this. This is my talking point. If a man is stepping in, and I already understand there are going to be women. We got this thing about women need to hold their bodies, don't need to be fucking until they get married. I'm not on that fucking horse because I know I was fucking before I got with a woman at kids. So I already understand these women out here fucking. You think your woman became a porn star overnight and knew how to suck dick and ride it? You fucking crazy. So I understand these women out here living their life. Freak Nick was real, baby. I know damn well we were playing R. Kelly and fucking in the night. So
well, you know, she wasn't even born when Freak Nick was out. I was a kid. Sound like she was born in the 90s. So that's above for her level right there. But
the thing about it, I'm just saying is this. I'm like this. I'm on the fence that if I'm in the house, you my woman, we talking about making some babies, and you already have a child, motherfucker, I want my title. But don't try to throw it in my face when shit get hot. Well, you ain't the daddy anyway. The motherfucker, I'll tell you what, I'll pay the lights and I'll pay the fucking goddamn rent or the mortgage. But anything else with your kids, since I ain't the daddy, go call that nigga. Don't call me. Since if I ain't the daddy, don't call me. But anything going on with Joey or Tamala. If I ain't 100%, nigga, thank you. I'll go in the bedroom and play my PlayStation, and you call me when it's time to fuck and make my own baby. I can go make my own child. Don't call me for shit else. Don't say, well, Tommy needs fucking get. Oh no, I'm not the daddy. Same energy, nigga. Don't do that. No, I'm not the daddy. Same energy, nigga. Don't call me at the knees. I'm not your ATM. I'm not your Bank of Daddy Fargo. No, you keep that same shit. I get tired of them games. I heard that shit plenty of times. You're not the daddy. Cool. Where my car keys at? Where's my Mazda? I'm getting the fuck on.
Mazda.
I ain't gonna front. Like when my daughter was growing up, and
Hold up, Shannon. I'm
had
about
a guy
for you.
Huh?
Shannon B wants the link. We might be.
I want all men welcome. If a woman welcome, come up. Let's have the discussion about the stepdaddy. Y'all know there's a lot more. There's a lot of step parents in America. There's a lot.
But
of
no, I agree with you, Joe. Because like and then too, I like if you just dating somebody, then I can understand. But if you married, then it shouldn't be any discussion as far as like disrespect and saying you ain't my daddy and all that bullshit.
I get that, but why can't I get the title? Why can't you just give me the crown?
Because I guess Josiah, like from my perspective,
I was gonna say I think that would work for like kids who don't really have a father that's involved.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. But here's the thing about it. I'm involved now. I'm involved.
But
I'm
so
involved.
for me, I'm a parent. My child's father was in her life. All right. So even when I dated and I had my significant others, my daughter knew it was always a respect boundary there, and we had an understanding, hey, this is who mama is with. And I asked her, I try to make her feel comfortable by asking, how you feel about this person or whatnot, because I don't want to force something on them that they're not actually feeling. And my daughter's only thing was, Mom, I like this person, but I still want to reserve dad for my actual daddy because my daddy was around. So I can't do nothing but respect that. I can't. I couldn't say, okay, hey, I want you to call him daddy too as well. And she didn't feel comfortable with that. So we kind of had an understanding that you must respect my significant other because they're looking out for you financially. Certain things I will let them talk to her about mentally from a male's perspective without my input, so that they could get the whole gist of what it is, the question that they're asking and what they're being concerned about. But that disrespect stuff, nah, we wasn't doing that because she knew, you know what I'm saying? My ex, don't get me wrong, my ex brought my kids a class ring, her cap and gown, all that stuff, because he knew she respected him. These are the things that he knew. So he didn't have a problem with her calling him Mr. because of that. Because I already explained to him, like, her dad is around, and he came around like when my daughter was like 15. So it was a difference for her. It was different. Now, maybe if he came around when she was a little girl and her dad wasn't around, that's different. But he was actually in the picture. So I couldn't refute that with her based on those technicalities.
I hear you with that, and I'm about to pass it to Shannon because me and Chetty, we're gonna have a hot. We got a lot of goddamn topics in the stove that we're gonna be pulling out, boy. And this is why I said I don't even see a point to goddamn marriage anymore after 2022. That shit might as well be thrown in the fucking burner because we might as well say we just rent a pussy and dick.com because I'm just a renter nigga at this point. Like, I know we just mutually bonding, we just mutually fucking, and you got certain goals you need. You need to be held at night. I need comfort at night, and that is what it is. I just it's
But
just the
marriage
thing about
goes beyond that. It depends on what
oh,
your expectations are as far as marriage. If you just looking for a
it's
fuck buddy, you don't have to get
but
married for
it's
that.
respect. It's the
But I will say this, y'all told me
respect,
something
Cherry.
today
Y'all
that
not.
I didn't think that was important to black men. I didn't think that
It is.
titles, and I didn't
But
know that titles were that important to black men like that.
I'm 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 gonna tell you right now. And Shannon, right? Shannon, you can hear me? Shannon, you right
Hey,
there?
what's up,
And
BMT?
Emmy,
That's my time.
what's going on? So I'm gonna tell you right now, and I ain't gonna answer. If a child were to tell you, "You not my daddy," how much you think that man gonna want to do for that child after that after that sentence? Once a child say, "You not
Hold
my
up, I
daddy,"
think he's on mute. Hold up, let me.
oh, he with his son. I'm gonna tell you
Oh,
right now, any man in the chat, you can ask them. Once a child say that, and that woman does not correct that child, or that man does not correct his child, that when that child start getting out of pocket with that kind of talk, all respect is being lost. I mean, it's going down like the goddamn stock market of Kmart with Nicki Minaj. That shit is coming. Either A, like like I said, in there, we never talk about those evil step parents. And see, we'll get at that. We will get at that, Brian. Don't I got you. Because some people will take on negative people just for comfort. We got them motherfuckers. We ain't gonna admit that. We're gonna get to that. But I'm saying the title alone of if a man is stepping in as the mortar for the household, and yeah, I get it. We got women saying I could do it by myself. Fuck you niggas. I don't need y'all. We can raise these kids by themselves. Congratulations. Now we see all these motherfuckers running around and shit. And we already see some of them saying, damn, I don't know how to interact with the opposite. Versus some others, we got young men that are trying to get a relationship with a woman, but they compared it to that of how it is with mama. So y'all wonder why these boys are comparing their relationship with a woman to their mama, and a lot of these boys they compare their goddamn relationship to their goddamn TV shows and goddamn porn. Niggas are fucked up in the game. So I'm saying like the title a man is derived on respect. Now, I'm not sure what the hell a woman is derived on, but a man, our mortar is goddamn respect. You can't respect my title. What the fuck am I doing here? I'm just telling you right now. That's like
I
can't.
so my kid. I think that comes with a discussion when a man actually comes in the picture to pick up those responsibilities, because a lot of women, they just bring on men and they don't have that discussion with their kids. They just bringing them in, and it's an assumption that, oh, he yeah, he should be respected because he in here. No, it's a household discussion. This who I'm dating. This who this is who I'm gonna be with. This is who's you gonna be interacting with. Let me introduce you to them. Because I straight up used to ask my daughter, do you like him? If she said no, what she said one time in her life, and she was 5. She was 5. And I asked her, I said, do you think he's a good catch for mom? And she shook her head and said no. And she was just like, well, I said, why? She was just, huh?
How would she know? How would she know what's best for you? She's a child.
So listen. I asked her that. Okay. And at the time I think I was 19, 20, 21. And I was like, well, how do you know about that? And she was like, mine is just something about him that I don't like. I don't know. I just don't like. So I was like, okay, well, could we get a respect factor going? She was like, yeah, but something about him I don't like. And I kid you not, he wound up being the worst for me. and it had nothing to do with my daughter. Okay. First of all, most kids know, for some strange reason, they have an internalized thing with them that they know when somebody is a good person or not. And what my daughter was trying to point out to me, that he was not a good person. So we went by and we went visit him one day, and he handled his mama some kind of bad. And my daughter was just like, she was 5, and she was like, oh, she said, Mama, I didn't like the way he handled that with his mom, you know. And make a long story short, as it all burrowed down, he wound up trying to kick my ass. Come to find out, he dealt with a lot of trauma growing up and all this extra stuff. And my daughter had a point. So from then on out, I asked her how she felt about the men that I was dating.
Okay.
I know a lot of people may think about it like she's a child, which she knows, but children have an internalized thing when they don't like someone. I'm serious. Sometimes you got to stop and listen to them too, because it ain't all about the adults at that point in time. You know, if I'm trying to include, making sure everybody is included, I want to hear my child, his child's opinion and everything. I want to hear that, because if it's something that needs to be rectified, it needs to be rectified on the spot. Yeah. And I sure let him know that my daughter didn't like the way you handled your mother in front of us. And she, you know, and as time went on, and, you know, and I asked her as she gotten older, and she was just like, I don't know, mine was just something about him. The rest of the people that you've dated, I didn't have a problem. But him, yeah, I had to put a restraining order on him. So I always ask, how you feel? Yeah, I do.
But don't nobody want to deal with somebody who they kids fucking hate.
That's what exactly. Like, you know, and that goes for both parties, men and women. Nobody wants to be like, nah, my kid gotta like you too. You know, and especially, you know, since you put me on to respect factor and titles, that is very important for Black men. Yeah, my kid have to like you. That's just the bottom line. I do they, you know, have to deal with you on a daily basis. But since mine is older, no. But especially if he's doing for her on account, you know, because he's with me, yeah, you have to respect the man, period. But if you don't like him, and now that she's able to express herself more, that she's older, yeah, I won't know. Because it might be something she see that I can't see. Because a lot of women are letting predators in their homes, and they're messing over their kids and stuff. And, you know, we got to talk.
Not just messing over them, killing their kids.
Yeah. Yeah, so I want my kids to talk. I want my kid to talk. Continue. I'm done.
So that's fine. And I also want to make sure we got another man on the panel. I'm looking at it at the context of, you know, and it's not bad to talk to that of your household. But I also understood, like, I used to have a problem with my mama dating. You know what I'm saying? My mom was like, son, let me sit you at the table. You can't hold me at night. You can't talk to me about the stuff that I go through psychologically. You only know so much of an extent of the iceberg of your mom. You understand what I'm saying? Our children only know so much about us of what we show them. Now, I don't know about that extent of a woman, but my kids, they're still learning every year. Now my son is sitting down with me asking me about what is the decision a man is going to have to make. And I'm like, oh, okay, now he's at the level as a teenager now. So his hindsight of the world is changing. I don't know what y'all daughters are going to have a conversation with y'all one day where they might come in the room and you might see them looking in the mirror, and then India and Charity might be like, she's noticing something different about herself that y'all are going to pick up on. So why when the boys run in the room, y'all step out the room, but she might break down and y'all know something about her that y'all know when y'all wasn't. You understand what I'm saying? So you're going to have that certain insight. Now I'm saying this. So when I'm looking at it for that of a title, titles mean something. That's why you hear a lot of men having an outcry of their respect that they don't feel like they're getting from the world or they're getting from certain women when you only need a woman, that woman to respect you. Now, I've seen it at the point where we lovey-dovey behind closed doors, or we in the bed, or maybe when we drive in the car, I'm holding your hand. The minute we get out of the car around other people, I'm not holding your hand no more. Now, your eyes, you know exactly what I'm saying, Charity. You want me to hold up, nigga. You switching up in public. The fuck is that? You ain't claiming me now, nigga. Girl, you know what I mean. So when we get in front of my friends, oh, who's he? Oh yeah, this my friend. Soon as you know you get in that car, I'm just your friend. I'm just your friend. I wasn't your friend when I was helping you out with that damn that alternator. Man, you know it ain't nothing serious. You gonna make a big deal of that shit. Because the title means something to him. And I get it. I understand. I'm a key component that you shouldn't just introduce foreign variables to your children off the bat. We have a really bad thing with that in households where this is my friend, y'all, Letitia. Daddy, you just met her. Okay. She gonna be staying in the house with us. You just met her. You let a foreign policy inside your house around you, around your children. Anything can happen. She could beat them, harm them, anything. Men and women do horrible things to children or other people. I
don't believe in cohabitation.
But see, Sally,
I'm not married to him.
But Sally, some people will right off the rip do that stuff. Let the person stay the night while the kids are in the room. No. That too many things could happen. You fall asleep, that man wander in the house while you're asleep. Or that man want to know about where your kids go, what they do, and all that stuff. And also, you start seeing marks on your children. I've seen that. I've dealt with that. So I understand. I understand that. But I'm also looking at it. I think you got feedback. I'm looking at it as step parents these days. As step parents these days, it's getting harder for that of people being willing to take on that the recruitment. This is why you now have where some people saying I might as well just raise my kids alone, but there ain't nobody holistically trying to fuck with me. They'll fuck me, or they'll probably have a mutual understanding of collaborating certain goals with me, but they actually are not trying to actually build with me. And see, that is right there a big fundamental issue. When you know in the back of your mind that you don't see me as that man or that woman in your life. Now, some people are fine with it. We got a lot of Nia Longs out there. You know, some of y'all women are fine with being that girl. Or you got a lot of niggas who are fine with being the Jodies. I got no issue with y'all. Fine with that. That's on you. Peace and prosperity.
Well, I think when you coming towards that goes back to sitting down there talking with your mate to see exactly where y'all at with things. You know, clarity. I just left somebody because they couldn't give me clarity. What are we doing? Where we going? How we gonna go about doing this? So if you can't give me clarity on our relationship status, then you know what I'm gonna treat it as? Oh, you just somebody that I'm dating. So if I need a little ones and twos, a nut, let's be clear. That's what I'm gonna call you for. Because if you can't give me clarity and I'm asking you, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. They jump into stuff and they don't have clarity. Because a lot of people hide their intentions.
What's my clarity on what's my clarity as the man of the household then? But that's what a lot of men want to know. I'm good enough. You say I'm your man, but am I just your man or I am the household man? And don't just say, well, we have a respect for you, but I don't have that holistic title. That's like Magic Johnson being over the goddamn the LA Lakers. When he got the position, the motherfuckers weren't actually calling him the GM coach. They just called him coach. But around the other people, they were like, nah, you just fill in a position. And that's why some men say, well, shit, these motherfuckers ain't mine anyway. Like, do you actually love my kids, or you actually just bound by duty fucking with my kids? Because you gotta fuck with me. They just a part of the package. They just the ducks behind you. So when they get old enough, I have to know if I'm dead or gone, are you gonna fight for my kid, or you gonna be like, hey, y'all motherfucker, come get these kids, bro? And I've seen that happen. The mama died, the daddy never really fucked with the kids. You know the first thing he did? Called the grandparents of, hey, come get these kids. Wait, you're not gonna let them finish growing up in that house? Nah. Those ain't my kids. He kicked them out of their childhood house. They had to go stay with their uncle in Texas. I'm telling you, shit run deep about these titles. That shit hurt, but those kids were hurt like, damn. My mom should never fuck with you.
And I'm telling you, that's why kids gotta be a part of the conversation. Because if they probably told their mama, you know what? Something about he low down, and if he did that, if he pulled that stunt, he never fooled with her kids.
Now I'm gonna tell you right now, India. Let me tell you where she fucked up.
Didn't give a damn about them kids.
But let me tell you. But let me tell you.
That's why you gotta have wheels and shit rolled up for your churn. Because guess what? I feel bad that happened to her kids like that. But that's why you gotta have certain shit in place to where your kids is protected.
But I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be a buck. Let me tell you what. I'm not gonna count and say she's innocent, because I would also see her whenever they get arguments, talk shit about him in front of the kids, or say these ain't your motherfucking kids anyway. Their daddy out there making moves. He a real hustler. He a real nigga. If I need money, I could just go hit him up. Then why you fucking with him from? Why you did a fucking Facebook wedding then? You see what I'm saying? You kind of shot your shotgun at him and saying, when you had your kid, tell him you ain't my motherfucking daddy anyway.
Well, he disrespected himself staying in that situation, because I'd have got the fuck. Period. I wouldn't have went that far as to building no house and no home with her based on that technicality alone. You don't respect me, your kids don't either. I said that earlier. Respect, it comes in the form of if that woman respect that man. If that kid sees that they're being respected, they're gonna respect him. If they see that he being disrespected by the mother, they're gonna disrespect him. Period. And he shouldn't have stayed in those situations, because a lot of men, and let's just be clear, a lot of men stay in situations because they can't afford to be on their own. I know that's a conversation for another day, but that's just truth right there. That's just plain and clear.
I will give you that. I will give you that. I'm not gonna fight against that. Shannon, you want to talk?
No, I was gonna say that too about the stepdad thing. Most people just looking for somewhere to stay. There's all kind of different type of dudes, but I only talk about two. You got the working stepdaddy, and then you got the hobo. And was women pick which either one, depending on what kind of career they took up, how they handling their household. Most women are looking for D and live-in stepdaddy. I'm not stepdaddy, live-in babysitter. That's what I want to say. So they really not looking for a man. They really not, and the dudes ain't looking. I know I'll try to be politically correct, but most of the dudes that's dealing with baby mamas ain't trying to. They looking for coochie. They ain't trying to fuck with no kids. They're not trying to raise no extra kids. They're not trying to do any of that. So that's the whole. I seen this on another live stream about the stepdaddy thing. They ain't nobody really fucking with no kids. They not trying to raise no kids, man. They just in there to keep down as much confusion as they can, so they can get as much as they can while they can. You see what I'm saying? The kids are just there. It makes it seem like a lot of dudes want to fool with these kids, but they don't. They like, shit, let me just, hopefully I can make it through the day. These kids don't say nothing to me, and I'm not gonna say none of them. That's the majority of men. So the working man, he doesn't want to be bothered. He wants his little in-house coochie. He's the perfect stepdad. If the kid asks him for something, he'll do it. But the hobo, them the ones that all these conversations are coming from. Where all the he needs a title, he needs this, he needs that. That's that bum nigga. He's the one just laying around the house needing all this different shit, trying to raise the girl kids and do all that different crap. That's not the working man. The working man usually ain't on that. The working man comes home, hey man, I don't want to be bothered with no kids. You see what I'm saying? Now, if they need something from me, I'll help them. But I'm not trying to be no kid stepdaddy. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like two different types of people. They're mixing it together to make this whole stepdaddy conversation. You see what I'm saying? It's them bum niggas that really want all this respect and all this different crap because he's always in the house. He ain't working, he ain't doing shit. He's just always in the house. So that's where the conversation comes from. That's just my take on it.
What you got to say, Charity? What you got to say? You've been quiet. Quit being quiet, Charity.
I don't have anything to add as far as like the bum stepdad and the working stepdad.
I can't with you, nigga. I can't with you. You know. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna look at it like this. I'm gonna say this. If I'm doing the job, I want that dude. I understand when kids start getting a certain type of age. Yeah, I get that. But I'm not gonna lie and say I'm not gonna lie on my life and say I have never not played stepdaddy. Hell, I got some churn out there, surrogate churn out there that still come back to me. Shout out to my babies that one of them, her and her friend, they're in the military right now. You know what I'm saying? I gave them some bread before they went into the military. I said, don't listen. Me and their mama took them down there to the clinic. We put her on that Mirena. Yeah, I know what the fuck that is. We put her on that shit. But I know them niggas will try to shoot her club up. And I said, don't trust them niggas. First thing you need to ask for is doggone their credit report, how much money they got in their savings, and their 5-year to 10-year goal plan. And if they can't answer that shit consecutively without having to skip a beat, they got to think about it. That means they're thinking on their ass. So you don't want that nigga. And her friend said, Dad, we ain't gonna fail you. We love you. I gave him a hug and a kiss, and I put their ass on that Greyhound bus. Now, they ain't my biological children, but those are my babies. I'll kill a nigga for them, for my children. I'll drive all the way down over there to goddamn that base. I ain't gonna dox my children. Just like I got my son. He in Job Corps right now. He's getting his certification to be a plumber. But I've done play stepdaddy. I didn't play. I assumed the role of stepdaddy. I ain't dealing with their mama, but I still treat them like my child. I get they do latchkey on to women with resources. I don't know why nigga be saying like nobody fuck single mothers. Nigga, me and my boys fucking shit out of single mothers. Single mothers like ain't shit. So it is what it is. But I understand after a while the women were like, well, damn, are you gonna do anything positive? Are you gonna do anything positive with us or not? Then see, that's when it gets different because that's where like how Shannon's saying you got another person down there where after a while the woman's like, I want to build up, I want to be better. And the man was like, whoa, you wasn't talking like this before. You want me to actually get a job or be a better man? Yeah, I want to actually form a blended tangible family. And people think that
Who is
a
still
blended
dealing with people with no job in this day and age?
Everybody.
Man, you be surprised.
Everybody. That's
Charity's so disconnected from us. She in her own world in the woods, man. We still trying to
Look,
let
even
me go
before
call some
like
shit, nigga.
having kids, even before getting married, I've always been a person that chased the bag. And I've never
Cap.
dated anybody that didn't have a job. You can cap all you want to, but that's facts.
Cap. Go get Journey or Jaden. Let's ask the real people who watch, who came through that.
Oh Lord, fix it, Jesus.
Boy, if I bring Journey up here right now, which I like before I got married, my older kids, I never exposed them to just like random niggas that I was talking to. That was always a no-no. But Journey can't anybody that Journey knows about was somebody that was of higher socioeconomic status.
Using words that don't like coming up. But we joined here by also a real good homie of mine, Complex Design. Welcome. We having a very, very well grounded discussion as men and women talking about step parents 2022 discussion. What's going on, Complex?
Hey, what's good, BMT? How you doing, bro?
What's going on, bro? What's going on?
Good. Good afternoon or evening. I'm on the West Coast, so afternoon. But good evening to everybody on the panel, everybody listening in.
Hello.
Go ahead. So, what's your thoughts on that about step parents being a one of the things I was telling them is titles and respect to a man goes a long way. Like that means a lot to a man. A title. I was trying to let them know like that's the main thing. If a man's title is not being respected, you can easily lose him. He's not going to really want to hold on to that whatever that position he in. Be like, you don't respect that title. So go ahead.
Of like the man being like a stepfather.
Just a stepfather, like a stepfather or whatever position that he's playing.
And hold up, Gary Hawkins says a stepfather is the one who steps up when the baby daddy don't. But Gary Hawkins, there are plenty of people that have an active father who parents remarry. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah, this is a very tricky topic.
I'm glad you came.
That single mothers now, it ain't like they ain't never been remarried. I have friends that were married before they had children. Everybody that's a single mother ain't just having all these random baby daddies and just popping out kids. It's people that's been married and relationships just don't always work even when you marry.
Oh, no, I think that's more of a common trope today. I think the step parent thing works a little bit different today. I'm a Gen Xer. BMT knows, I got a couple of years on him. I'm 45. My parents divorced when I was 7. This is back in 1984. My dad remarried, and he's been married to my stepmom since 1987. So she's been in my life since I was like 8 years old. I'm 45 today. Okay. My mom has been married twice after my dad and divorced twice after my dad. Okay. So I've kind of seen this whole sort of remarriage, step parentage thing up close and personal, right? I have half siblings on my dad's side. And like I said, on my mom's side, she just got married twice after my dad and got divorced twice after my dad. Okay. So, I had one stepdad who I learned a lot from, a lot of what it is that I do today and how I do things today has a lot to do with him. Right. And then with my stepmom, I'll be on record as saying my stepmom is one of my best friends. That's not to say that I don't love my mom or my mom's not close to me or I'm not close to my mom, but my stepmom is a very important person in my life, right? So I think this is a very nuanced subject, and I salute you, BMT, for talking about it.
And everybody's situation is different. Me and BMT were discussing some things earlier, and there are certain like outliers that can, have an effect on the outcome of whether like the step parent thing is successful or not. Because just like one of the people in the chat was saying, like they had a bad experience with step parents, and how the stepdad was saying they'll get their mom to send them away and things like that. I mean, those instances do happen, and some men are there just for the woman and not the kids, and vice versa. But I can't speak on that because I've never experienced a step parent. My parents will be married like 53 years, but it's like as far as my current husband, my children love him, so like it's not like a bad experience or anything, so I can't speak from that standpoint. But I think it's healthy having like two people who are in a loving relationship in a home as opposed to just like a one parent household. And it's
Well,
just
no, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, I have a one-parent household. It's not due to divorce, it's due to the fact that I'm widowed, right? I lost my wife going on 8 years ago due to cancer.
I'm
So
sorry to hear that.
You have my condolences.
thank you. I'm not a single father by choice, right? My wife and we had a very loving relationship, but nature calls, right?
Yeah.
So I prior to me and my wife getting together, because neither one of us had any children. So when we got together, my daughter was our first child. It was my first child. It was her first child. Prior to her, though, my ex-girlfriend did have a daughter. Okay, and that relationship, I'm not even gonna lie, it was a challenge because I'm not gonna get into all that, but there was a challenge there in that relationship. But then when my wife and I got together, there was no challenge there. And the funny part about it is that my wife and I were friends before my ex and I had gotten together. So that's the funny part. But yeah, I've experienced dealing with someone who did have a child. The attachment thing is a very real thing, right? Because let's just say that child gets attached to their parent's partner, right? But things don't work out. And, I think that has longer term effects because it was like, okay, it didn't work out with my dad. Then my mom met this cool guy, it didn't work out with him. Right. And so I think this is kind of where this starts to set in early on in children. And it's not necessarily the healthiest thing if the relationship isn't healthy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What do you think as far as like socioeconomic status? When we first logged in, Josiah and I were talking about like a socioeconomic status in like the step parent household as opposed to like a single family household.
I mean, well, you're essentially doing it the right way. I'll tell you right now, I have a tech startup. I run it with my partner. I'm a CTO, right? So, but I'm a single parent. It's a bit of a challenge. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on with what I do. My daughter, however, is very involved, right? I try to involve her as much as possible, right? But when you have a way to balance the load when there's two parents, right?
Mhm.
No matter what you have, if you have boys, or a boy, you have a girl, or you have both, right? There's going to be balance for both. Okay, that's the main thing. One, right? There's balance in the home. There's a masculine and a feminine balance, or at least there should be if you have the two in the home. The second thing you have, ideally, is two incomes.
Right.
Okay, right? That's the second thing, ideally, that you have, because it's like it's called a force multiplier, right? Like if it's easier for two people to pick up 200 pounds than for one person to pick up 200 pounds. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. See, so these are kind of like fundamentals of economics, right? And it's funny because relationships have gotten so transactional, right? However, I think what we've done is we've misapplied where the transactions occur. Those actually should occur in the home environment. There used to be something that they used to teach in schools called home economics. Do you remember this?
Yes, they actually still
They
had it in school when I was going through high school.
Okay, I'm in California. They
Maybe
took
in
it out.
northern Louisiana, but not in the south.
Okay,
Continue.
I'm just saying I'm in California. They took it out of the schools years ago. I was probably one of the last group of students. I was in middle school and high school in the 90s. So I was part of the last group who took those type of courses, right, in school for credits to understand how, like, literally managing a home. It's literally called home economics, and this is a lost art, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that have gotten away from us in terms
Yeah,
of how
I
to
agree.
manage a home.
I think that's one of the things about it. When it comes to that the social, economic, and upbringing skills. Like I watched, adults balance a checkbook. A lot of kids don't know what to do with a checkbook. Hell, when the bank gives them a checkbook, a lot of people don't even know how to write checks anymore.
But I mean, home
I was,
economics is
Anymore,
easy.
man.
huh?
I was gonna say home economics was easy back then because people could afford for a mom to stay at home. In this day and age, both parents have to work unless you want to be like poor.
No,
Well,
that's not 100. Wait, BFT. Let me address that. That's not 100% true. That's not 100% true. Okay. This is why home economics used to be very important. Like, okay. Outside of, say, like maybe a mortgage, right? Insurance for, your family, stuff like that, right? If you are largely debt free, okay, then that means you have less debt obligations, which then means you have more things that you can do with your money to grow,
But who
right?
is actually living like that? I mean, if you in California, you in one of the most expensive states in the U.S. Let's
And I'll tell you, and because I'm born and raised here, I'll also tell you how to live affordably here.
But like
'Cause I've been-
y'all median, and I'm in real estate. Y'all
Yeah.
median, like it's hard to find a house for under $1 million in California. And
That's
I
not
mean,
true. That's not true. I literally live here. Let's do this. Here, on my camera. Give me a second. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Because I
You
don't
don't
live in
have.
L. No. BMT, come on, dude. You know me. 'Cause
Okay,
I'm
I
not,
got you.
bro. I'm just gonna show you what I'm talking about. Right. Here we go. You go out here. I live on a cul-de-sac. But I want you to see these houses. Okay. Now these houses, and they're building all out here, all around here, right? I live in a rural area in California, where it's largely agricultural. Okay. So what we're also looking at and what we need to determine here is that for like long-term investments, real estate, stuff like that, what are areas where you're looking to settle in that have long-term prospects. This is a growing community here in California versus like you go down to LA where I'm born and raised, there's no way in hell. Yeah, you go down there, yeah, your average problem about $1 million. No, I would say realistic 750. And we're talking about houses that have a lot of problems when you buy them. Okay, you come out here, these are all brand new homes. They're starting at about 425. And this is California, right? See, so it depends on market, depends on area. In that area, what do we have? What are we looking at in terms of growth? We're looking at long-term planning, long-term investment, stuff like that. And in the context of like marriage and relationships and stuff, what Black folks unfortunately do is we divorce at a high rate. That's primarily typically initiated by women. And what that does is it kills any sort of prospects for long-term growth in terms of value, property investment, things of that sort. Okay. So we have to sort of all reorient our minds on how we look at marriage, union, relationships, legacy, growth. They're all intrinsically tied.
Okay. I do agree. One of the things that I asked my parents, because I'm the baby of the bunch. My parents had me when they were 36. My parents they have been married 53 years. Their anniversary was back in August.
Wow, congrats to them. That's a rarity nowadays. Shit.
And one of the things that I asked them about, how did they stay married so long? My mom talked a lot about legacy. She was like, and she married my dad when she was 17. They're in their 60s now. And she was like, legacy. She was like, I knew that I needed my husband to have a certain lifestyle. She was like, she knew that she wouldn't have been able to, build the things that they have. And my mom is an attorney. She actually made more money than my dad, but my dad was better with managing money. My dad is the one that did all of their investments. He's the one that did their retirement planning. And they played off each other's strengths and weaknesses. But anyway, she basically said that legacy and trying to build for her children and grandchildren was like the reason that she stayed married so long. That and my parents actually still love each other.
They love each other. And BT, I hope that you can I hope you can clip and make that a short, right? Because that is the skinny of it, right? That was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm trying to network with your better content creators, bro. I'm trying to bring you a better content creators, bro. Like we can have actual good conversations, man.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like what she just said, because you rarely hear that, especially vocalized from a woman, right? And what it was that was her mother's take on why it was important to make their marriage work, right? And that was literally what it was that my wife and I had thought, right? All the way on down to when we decided to name our daughter. Our daughter's named after both of our mothers. So her first name is her mother's mother, her middle name is my mother's mother, and then her name is hyphenated because there's basically there's no more McPhersons left in her family. So we had to hyphenate her name so that it's still present. Right. And this is how serious we were taking these types of things. Right. And, when you hear the relationship conversations, they're usually about very prima facie, issues, things that I think a little bit of maturity could solve.
The most important part of that whole conversation was your mom and dad liked each other. Well, love each other. That's really important.
And you notice you don't ever.
No, because my.
Okay. I don't know, for some reason it's like giving feedback on
Yeah, I
Shannon.
think there's a little bit of feedback, but I was asking him, he mentioned love, and I asked him, I said, you ever mention, brother, that you never hear the word, he brought it up, and I'm saying, you ever mention you never hear the word love brought up, brother? The brother that was talking.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I don't. They're never talking about love anymore. They're just all
Right.
these situations to bring people together. It's like a checklist or something, and that's not the way relationships work. So, you know, it doesn't work like that.
But you have to have more than love, though. I mean,
Not really.
you have to have certain compatibility traits, because you can love somebody, you can, love them to the moon and back, but if you're not compatible and if y'all don't play off of each other's strengths, then it's not gonna work.
Well, that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I said that usually happens when only one person is in love. What happens a lot of times is only one person loves and the other one is just there for the purpose. Yeah. So it happens like that. But if both people love each other, you can start from ground zero and build all the way up. But
that's facts.
If you don't love, if one of them is not in love, ain't nothing finna happen. It's just gonna be one person trying to do over the top stuff for a person that really could care less. And that's what you see a lot that goes on in the relationships nowadays.
We've forgotten the lost art of reciprocity. Okay, if I pour into you, you pour into me, right? Like I said, it's easier for two of us to pick up 200 pounds, right? If I, and I'm the man, right? So if I can grab 150, you grab 50. Okay, we're distributing that load. But if you're always looking at me standing off to the side, like, pick it up, right? Where's the reciprocity in this?
I agree. And then most of the people that I know who have like bad outlooks on marriage and like love and stuff, like they picked the wrong people, but now you bitter and you mad at everybody else because you didn't vet the person that you married.
Well, it's funny. We don't always know, right? All of us, we don't always know the true intentions behind why people do what they do. That's why what I always do is I'll shrug my shoulders and I'll say, well, you picked them. Whatever the reasons were, you did it, right?
Right.
And that goes for both men and women.
Yep.
Yeah, you definitely have to sit down and vet somebody before you actually, go the step further to see exactly what it is that, where y'all share likes and dislikes. So definitely.
And you gotta have open communication too, because a lot of people don't discuss important stuff before they get married.
Well, what it is right. That what we've done is we've ascribed, and I'm gonna hop off here in a few minutes here. My daughter's got cheerleading practice, so I got daddy duties.
How old is she?
Saturday she'll be 11, but realistically she's going on 25.
Understood. Understood.
No, that's my little lady. She's just like her mother, and Jesus Christ, they're just so mature. What we've gotten, what you hear people talking about is dating, and you guys can go and look this up. The original definition of dating is basically when a man pays for a woman's time. Okay. And so if you want to know why it is that there's so many struggles with regards to dating nowadays and expectations and situationships and all this kind of stuff that comes out of quote unquote dating, it's because what's become customary is that there's this practice of a guy says, hey, I want to take you out. I'm going to spend some money on you, right? And then he's got an expectation of sex because he spent money. It's a subversive form of prostitution. What we got away from is courtship. That's what you guys are talking about. That's what you guys are referencing.
I thank you for that. I appreciate that. So now I'm going to start saying courtship. I appreciate it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, sister. I was listening to you. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just chiming in and say I appreciate you rectifying the term courting versus courtship, dating versus courtship. I appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm gonna definitely start saying courtship instead
Courtship.
of dating.
Well, I mean, but you got to understand, right? Like courtship has so it's two things, right? You see, so look, if a man's going to court a woman, he's courting her, right? And then the woman, as a result, is allowing him to court her if she's allowing him to enter into that, and that becomes an exclusive thing. But if we're in this age of options, quote unquote, right, because we have social media and apps and DMs and all this other bullshit, then it really does make courtship difficult to achieve in this day and age. And that's the reason why you don't hear so much about it. It's the reason why, hell, shit, women don't even require it. They say, I'm dating dudes and, you know, may the best man win or what have you. But then when dudes
That's
tired
exactly
of trying
what's
to
going on.
bounces, then it's all like, where's the men? And you have this cycle, right? And it was never actually meant to be that way. But I'll tell you this much, it was socially engineered to be this way.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, I think Shannon had something to say.
What he said about the courtship and the option thing, that's exactly what's going on. I'm the same age as you, man. I'm 45, born in 77. So
we're the same age.
Yeah. And I've seen the courtship doesn't even exist anymore. Women are pretty much on the best man win. Whoever wins, oh well, you know. And sometimes they're not even on that because it's the whole relationship aspect is gone. It's not really there. Some people make it, the most don't. So when they have conversations like this online, you never hear about the relationships that really don't. They're kind of just, what I hear from a lot of guys, they're not even going through relationship stuff. They're really stuck in between the courting and not even courting, the dating process. They're not even getting that far. And that's what you hear now. So as far as trying to be in a dating, situation, people are not even making it that far. They're just complaining about even making it to step one. So that's what I see a lot on this dating thing.
Even in the realm of marriage and wait, there's an echo.
Hold up,
Oh, it's probably my phone. I'm gonna have to drop down and come back.
Echo.
I'm gonna have to drop down. Hold on.
It might be. Okay, he's gonna drop down, come back up. So that's what causes a lot of the issues when you start talking about trying to build wealth and legacy and all that. There's no firm commitment to do it. You gotta put money in some stuff and then allow it to matriculate over the long term, right? Like that's what you have to do, and you have to pair with someone you can make these plans with, and you guys are going to actualize them. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. A lot of, women like to maybe, date on potential. A lot of dudes like to date on looks, right? But the intrinsics are not there to make it happen over the long term. Yeah. And, this is the dangers of going based off of a big butt and a smile, so to speak, right?
I feel like when you reach a certain age, potential is out of the window, and you definitely shouldn't marry anyone based on potential.
Wait.
I disagree. I disagree with that. I definitely disagree. I would say I would date off of potential if the potential is putting into action. Okay, that's the big word, the action part.
Well, that's the thing. Once you're in action, then okay. Basically, it's laws of thermodynamics, right? There's potential energy, and then there's inertia, right? Inertia is energy in motion. Potential energy is energy that's stored, right? So if it's in action, then we're out of the potential stage. That's a doer, right? Somebody who's got potential talks about a lot of good ideas, but guess what? They don't act on shit. Real talk.
Right. That's, to me, that's dating potential. when you just have talkers and not walkers.
'Cause
Hey,
I mean,
BMT, let me know when I can get in.
oh, go ahead, Ji.
BMT, can you hear me all right? Is my mic clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear.
You good, bro? What's up, man?
What up, Complex? Blessings to you. So this
I'm
whole
chilling.
thing is putting the cart before the horse. First off, there's no more families because women are having children outside of wedlock to begin with. Then, if you've been on any kind of dating app, women it's retarded the way they're moving because their standards go up after they have a child. When they're less valuable, they raise their standards. And they even have the nerve in their bios to say, it's all about my child comes first, I done had my whole phase, now I need somebody serious, if you don't got a job, don't bother talk about, like, all this foolishness that they should have had beforehand, because being a stepfather is a thankless job. Any woman with kids, that a man dealing with her, she just ought to just be groveling at his feet and just be appreciative. Just honestly, she ought to just be so grateful that a man is willing to play that role to kids that aren't his. That they just ought to be over the moon, because these women are not Sierra. They put themselves in these celebrity shoes, and then they think that they have the same value as these celebrities. It's not the case, and that's why
I want
most
you
of
to
them end up
start
alone.
saying most women.
Whoa,
Not
whoa,
all
wait,
women
wait,
are
wait.
the same.
Well, let's do this. Let's
Most.
do this. 'Cause what I
We
want to
don't
do,
hold on,
Jay,
no, hold on, Complex. Hold on,
if
Complex.
you're
We
if you're
don't have to
still
say
going,
most
continue,
women because
continue.
we know. Hold on, we know that nothing is all. There's no point in saying that. We know that nothing in this world is all, except that we all gonna die one day. That's the only thing.
Well,
That's all that
I
applies to
need you to
everybody.
clarify that for me. I just need you to clarify that for me.
There.
Most
I'm not
women.
gonna say not all, because that's common sense. One, and two. If even if I say all, common sense will tell you that it's impossible for it to be all. We know that from common sense. We don't even got to be college educated to know that. But
Well, okay.
moving on with the thing. Go ahead, Complex.
No, I was going to say, well, okay. So one of the things that I kind of prefaced in terms of what I was saying about the whole step parent topic was that my stepmom is one of my best friends. Okay. See, so what we're kind of doing is we're being one-sided and negating the effects of what a stepmother could be to a child, right? In a man's life, his child, right? So what we're doing is we're completely blindsiding that, and we're not putting that on the table for discussion. What we're saying is that, well, yeah,
Because it's not the same.
Well, it's not the same. I'm not saying that.
It's not equal.
Well, okay.
Because a woman coming into a man's life, the man's still providing, and she's actually still benefiting, and she's just playing her role as a nurturer. That's all.
Right, but see, but in my dad's case, see, my stepmom didn't have any kids, right? You see, so I was like,
that's not an L for her. It's a double standard.
Well, okay. What we're doing is we're negating. See, the part that when I said my stepmom is one of my best friends.
If she didn't have any kids, what are you talking about?
Well, no.
For her to have a good man,
right.
for her to have a good man, it doesn't matter that there's an extra kid. She's gonna have multiple kids anyway.
Plenty of other options. If she was a single woman with no kids.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same for men and women, because her coming into a situation childless to a good man, that has a kid, that's a good deal for her, because now she can show him her parenting skills. She's already going to have multiple kids anyway. Women shouldn't have no problem with kids, because women are supposed to raise kids anyway.
So that's very interesting. It's very interesting that you say that. That's the only thing. Wait, hold on a second. That's the only thing I'm trying to point out.
All right, that's why a lot of them going to end up alone.
Jay, let me just finish this up.
A lot of them are happily alone. A lot of women are choosing not to marry because they don't want men with kids already.
Okay, all right.
That's perfectly fine. There's a lot of guys saying they don't want women with kids, right? So that's a thing on both sides. But if we're kind of talking about the step parent thing, I'm kind of I'm a testament to saying, well, no. My dad remarried because he couldn't make it work with my mom. He's going to be critical of anyone, be critical of her. Not my stepmother. My stepmother was actually very effective And so I have to give that some value. And this is the only thing that I want to point out here when you're saying, well, no, it's a one-sided deal. And I'm like, not really, because see, she didn't have to do for me what she did. She really didn't. But she did. You get what I'm saying?
That was her job.
Say that
That
again.
was not.
That was her job.
That was
That
not.
was her job when she signed
I
up.
guess, and by that logic, I guess
When she
if you're
signed
a
up to deal with your
father or if you're
dad,
a
that was her
dad,
job.
anything that you would do as a father, that would be your job as well, correct?
Well, as a stepchild, yes,
No,
that's
I'm
why I
saying
said a
if
woman
you're, I'm
is
saying if
lucky.
you're a father, I'm saying, so by that logic, if you're a father, it works the same way, just on the other side of the equation, correct?
Are you saying if you're a stepfather?
Well, she's a stepmother, so the opposite of that would be a stepfather, right?
Yeah, a man that's stepping into that.
And so what I'm
That's
saying is that what we're looking at is the effectiveness of both, correct? Well, we want both to be effective, regardless of what because I'm pretty sure the women on the panel and women listening in, they were saying, okay, well, look, if I had a guy come in and he was somebody I really cared for, I really wanted to build something with and all that, I would want him to be leadership, mentorship. I want him to be all of those types of things to my children. He couldn't be their paternal father. However, in the home, he is their provider and protector. He is their mentor. He is their leadership. In the inverse, if it's a woman, wouldn't you want her to bring whatever qualities it is necessary for a woman to have in the home, to have proper rearing of the children? I mean, doesn't this cut both ways?
yeah, it goes both ways.
Okay, then I'm not.
It's not equal, but it goes both ways.
Okay, well, I mean, if it's not equal, it's not equal. But what I'm saying is that let's not downplay the importance of both parents in the home.
Here's. Oh, nobody's downplaying the importance
Okay,
of two
I
parents.
just want to make sure we're not doing that.
No, the issue is we don't have families to begin with. And a family is two married people that start off having children. What we do is women just have kids because they can, similar to dogs and heat. They just get pregnant because they can. And they just bring forth children because it's a biological function. And they can. So they just do it. And then once they're coming looking for stepfathers, hold on.
Mhm.
Then once they're coming looking for stepfathers, they don't have the wisdom or foresight to understand that stepfathers value and the value because they don't value men to begin with, which is why we can't have families. Okay, go ahead.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, right? I'm not disagreeing because you're talking about. See, I was talking about the stepmother thing because you kind of dismissed that part, and I was like, well, I actually came in speaking on the importance of my stepmom in my life, right? So I'm actually somebody who can speak to that. Now, in terms of the stepfather thing, that's not necessarily something I'm going to disagree with. Listen, my mom's been married 3 times, divorced 3 times, right? See, so, and I thought my stepfather, when she remarried the second time, I learned a lot from him in terms of like mechanical engineering and all that stuff. It's a large reason why I do what I do today, right? So I valued what I learned from him during the time that she was married to him, but hey, right? I was young and I couldn't quite understand the dynamics of what was going on at the time, right? So I'm not gonna disagree with what you're saying on that end, right? I think that's something for the ladies to actually address. But I will always say, hey, listen, you know what? I have a stepmom who's a very important person in my life. So I don't know. I think there's some room for that.
Well, let me ask the women on the panel this question. Women, in your opinion, why do women raise their standards after they have children instead of thinking about that and those ramifications before they have children?
Go first, Charity, because I got a lot to see.
My standards have always been high.
Outside of them being retarded.
And then you speak of women having children as if they just had those children by themselves. But I'm not gonna get on Ray Ray and Pookie's today because that's not the topic. Nonetheless, I don't know these women that you speak of. Um, and then it would be stupid to repeat the same mistake twice. Say, for instance, a woman does have a child. Why would you want to deal with the same type of man that you had the child by and repeat the same mistake again? Like, it makes no sense. Only a
But they
nigga.
do it all the time.
Well, I can't speak for they.
No, okay.
Do you have children? Are you married?
No to both.
Oh, okay. I see. Go ahead, India.
For most women, I think it's a learning situation. A lot of women haven't been taught in the beginning those things on keeping standards and all that stuff. And my thing is, why can't they change their mind once they did make their mistakes? They saw it, they need to rectify it. Now, of course, a lot of them put it out there as ratchet as shit. Don't get me wrong. However, learning means you evolving, you growing. So what you didn't know 5-10 years ago that you know now, you applying. Why wouldn't they apply that logic that they've learned 5-10 years ago? Now, granted, I understand men might feel like it's very aggressive how women are coming across when they're so-called demanding what they want. But closed mouths don't get fed. It don't. Now, like I said, a lot of them put it across as ratchet as shit, but why should they not evolve once they did make those mistakes? Why shouldn't they? They should
Because
still
they're
be
so arrogant. They never say, you know what, I messed up, my value's lower. I'm going to cook and clean for you. I'm going to be the best woman because I know that you're stepping into a burden. I'm going to appreciate you every day. I'm going to rub your back and get home from work. I'm going to do. They only just do this demanding thing. And it's retarded and it's ineffective. I just wanted the thought process behind it because it doesn't work.
A lot of times, if women not doing that, the man is not earning that. You have this
earning
every.
It's not even that.
Well, what is
if
it?
it's food in the fridge and he taking care of your bastard kids, that's not earning.
Just because they there and they have a job, they expect king treatment.
And this is why we have like an 80%, out of wedlock birth rate. People aren't getting married. Listen.
Well,
it's like advertisement for passport bros.
I can't
go ahead,
speak
Shannon.
People. But I'm happily married. Now it's certain standards. Like if a man is providing, if a man does work, he does deserve a certain level of treatment. But just because you here and I got kids, that don't mean you deserve all this shit. Let's be
wait. I'm sorry, Shannon. Go ahead. I don't want to jump ahead of you. Sorry.
Most of y'all barely scraping by. Look, it's different when
that's crazy what you just said. That's why men shouldn't be stepfathers. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good, bro. Go ahead, man.
Okay. Much as I like to disagree with Jay, I'm not gonna disagree with him. But the reason why it's the women, as far as them knowing, they know. They already know. The reason why they act like they act is because there's so many men that are willing to sign up for the bullshit. That's the only thing. She could have 10 babies by 10 different dudes. There's always going to be a guy there. So they formed up this deal to where they don't care. Whatever men have to say, they don't give a shit.
People are
like whatever you say. These women don't know how to be women and this and this and that. They don't give a damn because there's always going to be a guy there. Always. There's always going to be a stepdaddy.
Extremes and trying to make it seem like it's logic. People ain't having no damn 10 babies like that no more. Y'all are talking about outliers. Let's keep it.
Well, I won't say 10 then. Say 3 or 2. There's still always going to be a guy there.
I was going to say.
Maybe a hobo.
No. A working man.
Somebody that just needs somewhere to stay.
No. A working man. A working man would bring a mom and her kids into his house. That's the reason why I come up on panels, because that's what I want to address. What's really going on out here?
Yeah.
If things were going like people said on these panels, then these conversations wouldn't even come up. Man, this is what's going on. There's always dudes there. The stepdaddy thing is a thing. There's always stepdaddies everywhere. They're there, and that's why women act like they act.
But are they effective? But are they effective stepdads?
Well, here's the thing.
They must
We
be,
got men
because
that
they're
are date women for their resources. Let's
They
be
must
clear
be.
on that as well.
Go, Shannon.
Stepdaddies must be effective because women are doing what it takes to have a stepdaddy around. They're not getting married. They're having kids, but they ain't thinking about no marriage. They're not thinking about marriage. If they want a dude, they can have a dude. If they don't want a dude, they don't have a dude.
Well,
The reason they have that because of the options. The options are there.
Well, let's address the elephant in the room, right? Because think about what's being said here, right? And this is kind of where I would say I do find a bit of this type of conversation insulting when I hear these talking points from sisters, right? Because you didn't require, this was not required of the men that you had babies with. I'm going to say that again. The standards, right, that you hold now to any sort of man that comes into your life, right? And you're going to be highly judgmental. And I would dare say that if I were to just analyze the numbers, these dudes fit the bill, okay? But what it is that we're going to go above and beyond to compensate, right, for the shortfalls of the past. And that's what's insulting to a lot of men. That's what Shannon's getting at.
They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear the truth.
I heard it, bro. I just had to say it.
I mean, I can understand like some points that he made, but I mean, I still can kind of see the other side because who want to make the same mistake. Now, personally, I can't relate.
Or generations.
Reached for higher hanging fruit. But I mean, people are allowed to have standards.
Well, okay. Just don't complain about the results, right? So for example, I fully understand. I'm not for every sister. I'm born and raised in California. I'll tell you firsthand, I get more play from other women of other ethnicities than I do from black women. It's been that way my whole life. Did that stop me from marrying a black woman and having a black child? No, it did not. I'm just giving you the facts, right? I'm just giving you the facts. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Let me tell her this. To this, I agree with you. She said that they should still have standards. I agree. I think that single mothers should set their standards at billionaires. Personally, all right. I think they should hold out for billionaires, and if you're not a billionaire, then that's where their standards should be. I believe they should raise it all the way up there to billionaire. Because if they're gonna be delusional, they might as well go for gold, right? Because they got these delusional standards. They might as well just reach for the stars.
Well, no,
in my opinion, I honestly do. They should reach for the stars.
I would prefer their delusion to be more reasonable. However, what I would prefer. Well, no, here's the thing, right? Because you know what it's going to do. If anything, it forces them to kind of up their shit to go and get what they want, right? Because like I said, if I'm just to run the numbers, there's plenty of brothers out here, right, that fit the bill in terms of dudes that are in various trades. I'm in tech. Like there's plenty, dude, I don't want to hear that shit, right? Because like I said, I'm in California. Sisters ain't really checking for me like that. My wife is from Chicago. I just happened to meet her while she was out here on vacation, right? But see, my whole life growing up, right? So let's do it like this. We're all grown-ass adults at this point. We know what it is. We know what our likes and what our dislikes are. What I'm imploring the sisters to do is to actively pursue the niggas you like. You know the type you like. What I'm trying to tell you is that find the one who's worth a goddamn and lock them down. Stop playing.
I think they need to raise their standards to billionaire standards.
I'm trying to
and they need to hold out for a billionaire.
I'm trying to be very realistic here.
I'm being very realistic. They need to hold out for a billionaire, go for gold, and they just need to wait until they get it because they believe that they're worth that, so they might as well just hold out for it. Just wait for a billionaire, And if you're not a billionaire, just don't even give them any of your time.
The problem
Don't even waste your time.
the problem with that is that we're talking about status, and we're talking about proximity, right? See, so when you start making money like that, you know, people are just not within proximity, within realms, within whatever, right? And you know, I can somewhat
No, the internet is worldwide. The internet connects everybody to everybody, and they all got the law of attraction. They believe in the law of attraction. Let them attract it.
Bullshit. None of them people hang around in them circles where I hang out, even if it's online, right? I don't see ratchet chicks saying "What up, boo?" That's not cracking. So I'm just saying that what happens is that law of attraction in true action has you moving and separating and moving into different circles, right? And this is one of those things where that's why I'm like, look, I'm actually vouching for them to be more realistic, because doing it that way, that would require them to actually be in the circles of said people.
No, I want them to go the other way. Raise they stand even higher.
You
If it's not
sound bitter
working,
though. You sound
Raise them
bitter
higher.
to me.
Who,
You
Complex?
sounding bitter to me because
Complex sounds
like
better?
he's saying, the law of
They
attraction
all
is
sound
moving
bitter.
up.
But listen, I just want to hear
Wait,
like
me?
some of the outrageous.
Hold up.
standards.
Complex sounds bitter? Who sounds bitter?
You
I'm just saying,
sound
you
bitter.
sounding bitter. You sounding bitter to me because you like raise the standards to the billionaire, and I'm like, nah, we just want realistic. And when you raise your standards, you're moving around in different circles outside the norm, so that you could actually find what it is exactly that your heart is.
Oh.
Okay.
So y'all have some measure of realism, because y'all won't set it to billionaire. So y'all aren't completely 100% delusional.
That's why I
Okay.
said take
But the
y'all
delusion
and
meter
put
is still
more.
broken.
Take y'all out. Take y'all out of it.
No.
So the
Yeah,
delusion
take
meter,
y'all
okay.
out of
So
it.
there's so y'all have a bit of reality, enough to say I'm not gonna hold out for a billionaire. So there is some level of sense, common sense left.
My
It's just
thing
not all the way
is,
crazy.
it depends
Listen,
on who
I'm
you're
not the
communicating
Utah.
with.
Y'all over talking each other.
Right. I
Hey.
just wanted to go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey,
In JI, what are some of these delusional standards that y'all are speaking of? Like,
We're not gonna sit on here and pretend like we didn't just go through the past couple years of the
ain't nobody
HBM.
talking about, oh, I want a billionaire, this and that. I want to hear.
No. Here's what I'm saying. Listen to
We're not finna do no extreme. I want to hear real life examples. I don't want to hear like, oh, 10 kids and this and this. Can you please give real life examples?
No, real life examples would be like 2 or 3 kids that don't belong to a man. Like that's
But I'm
just
saying, speaking in terms of standards that are so outrageous that people don't.
no. I'm
deserve.
saying like that. I mean, if you're asking me, that is a bit outrageous. If you're asking me.
Look,
Now,
Yeah,
other
but
men
sister.
other men may not necessarily feel that way, right? But like I said, I didn't bring any children, outside children, to my union with my wife, and she didn't have any outside children either, right? You see, so if I were to go into a union now, if a woman had 1 child, okay, look, there's nothing wrong with being equally yoked here. I got 1, you got 1, cool. Other than that, we're not doing 2 or 3. That is a bit much for me. Yes,
Right.
it
And
is outrageous.
everybody is allowed. And I agree, because just like someone put in the comments, if you are childless, I would not advise you to be a step parent. I agree with that. I have no problem with that if that's, your way of thinking. I mean, I don't want my childless children out dating somebody with kids. But I was just curious because he go to the extreme talking about, oh, they should want billionaires, this and that.
Well-
But if you just asking for like a good, decent guy,
I was the one that was trying to be reasonable.
Well, let me
here's
make a
the
couple of
thing, because
statements.
I got muted. Hold on. Here's the answer to your question. I was answering. I said we're not gonna pretend like we didn't go through the past couple years of the HVM, this high value man conversation that's been permeating in this space for the past couple years, and women setting their sights on delusion. So when I just encourage them to just take it,
was also said that the average man only make like 48,000 a year.
no. We're not hearing what I'm saying. You asked me where the delusion come from. And I'm telling you, these are examples of the delusion. And this is what's really, I'm telling you, this is what's what they really are expecting. And I'm saying that they might as well just go ahead and ask for a billionaire for as much good as it's going to do them. I think they might as well just go ahead and raise it all the way to the top. But this is what is happening in these spaces. And even the women are complaining on their end, saying that the men that they want, you got all these different shows, Kendra G show, whatever, whoever show, of examples of them calling in. I know, but I'm just saying, these are examples, real life people, just from people making six figures all the way on down to what we call Pookie and Ray Ray and Keisha and Quanda. All of them saying these same things and wanting the same things and not getting them because these women lack understanding. Okay, they were never laced, they were never raised to be wives, and now they just out here moving foolishly. But they have their standards set unrealistically. And when you watch these shows, from Kevin Samuels to Kendra G to these other ones they got called in the show, their standards are ridiculous for what they are, because women don't take a true measure of themselves. They don't hold an accurate reflection of themselves, which is retarded. Which is why I said that they move retarded these days.
I mean, I agree. Well, I agree that a lot more women need to take accountability as far as like their past actions and, you know, having like multiple children and that, like, you know, stuff like that. I can agree with you on that. Now, as far as like standards, I don't know as far as that, but I mean, I feel like everybody deserves to be happy. Now, as far as dating a millionaire and all of that, I know there's far and few in between.
All right, let me get in here and speak, because I gotta get off. I want to say a couple of words.
What's up, man? How you
What's
doing?
going on, man? Let me get some clarity here. Let's get out of the internet bullshit. The bottom line is, where do you learn the value of what it is to understand what a man is and what a woman is? This is all based in family structures. And we really should be getting back to a standard where men, this is the problem, ladies. I don't think women in general, and I'm not indicting all women, make the best decisions when it comes to men, when you use your emotional versus using logic instead. Like, is that man going to be able to put me in the life that I want? Is that man going to be a great provider, a great husband, versus, oh, he's got muscles, he look good, and all that sort of stuff like that, that sometimes that some women get caught up in, right? And I was on a panel one time, and we were saying that, you know, gone are the days when a daughter would have to get the man that she's interested in, that man has to be vetted through the father. See, people laugh at these ideas around the issues of fathers connecting you to a future husband or man.
Those days
don't deny the value in that, because men, we know the game better than women know when it comes to understanding men. We know all the games that a guy would play because we might have played these games ourselves as young men. And I think it is important for daughters. I have a daughter, by the way, that they have a father in their life to lace them with the game, as the brother is saying, as to what to look out for. So when black women go to college, like other people go to college or go to wherever you go, you should always be looking at the potential that that man has. What is he doing that vibrates that he's going somewhere in life? And connect with that type of young man and what have you. Get out of all of the fantasy and the love books that they've been pushing towards women, all this fantasy stuff that puts you in a trick game, and make decisions. Now the whole billionaire thing is unrealistic, because not everybody is going to be in proximity to billionaires, because billionaires are hanging out in a certain circle. So if you're a woman
and that's my point,
of a certain economic background, other than what you put out on Instagram, if you thought yourself out on Instagram, most men on there are just looking at you for sex. But if you truly want a billionaire or a man that's of high value, since everybody wants to use that word, then you have to be in those circles and go to where those type of men are. It's just like in the NBA, you know, you have women that are interested in catching these NBA players, right? Where do they go? They go to where the NBA players hang out, right? Well, if you want a quality man of education, of some kind of standard, you want to put yourself in those areas where those men are to be around them. But then that also comes at this price. You as a woman, you have to raise your standard to the level that man is looking for. So a couple of weeks ago, there was a woman on Instagram. Y'all probably heard about this, and she was moaning about the fact that she's noticing that a lot of the college guys are not interested in wifing up women that are heavily tattooed and that are sort of what you would call thotting it up. And she's whiffing about they don't want us. Of course we don't want those kind of women. Because those kind of women we can't take on a business meeting. We can't take in our circle a spear because you don't look in place there. So the brothers are right. Women have to decide what kind of man do you want, and to get the kind of man that you want is based on how you present yourself. Men have categories for women. We have women that we see as wife material, hoe material. I'm just gonna have a good time with her material. And the minute you're dating a man and he never takes you to see his mother or meet his father, you already know automatically what category he puts you in automatically. So we have to, I think as black people, we got to be honest. Black men have to be honest too, because as much as we say that we don't want to marry black women who have 3 and 4 kids, we as black men have to be more responsible about where we lay our damn seed at too around this damn place, because that creates the problem. You got to ask yourself, where do you get a single black mother? Well, she could either be
she knows that on her own.
No, sir. Let me say this. I'm 52 years old. I'm a real Gen Xer on this goddamn panel tonight. Okay? I grew up in the 80s, not the 90s, baby.
Hey, man, I'm another Gen Xer here.
And I grew up a little bit in the 70s. So I'm real deal on this motherfucking. What I'm saying to you is there are women, you're right, sir. There are women that make bad decisions, get with the wrong men, as I'm saying, and then they have all these babies because they think the baby's gonna hold the man to them, because the woman's gonna stay with that man's gonna stay with you, and you use the baby as a trap. It don't always work. Then you choose
just on a child support check.
Right. From on a child support check. Then you're getting married to men who were never father material in the first place. Then you feel surprised when they step out on you and they leave. And they don't marry you. You're right, brother. I'm not disagreeing with you completely. So it's because you chose poorly because he never was marriage type. You got caught up in his muscles, how long his ding-a-ling is, how he make you feel in the bed, all those things. And then when he impregnates you, you think he's gonna stick around? No, he was just a Rolling Stone type guy. That's just the bottom line to it. Now, there are some guys out here who have laid their seed around irresponsibly, right? Led women on and laid their seed around irresponsibly, which has contribute to this single parent situation, because it takes 2 to tango, baby. It ain't just one side. But women have to make better decisions. Right, that's true. Women got to make better decisions in what they do, and we got to have men out here.
Jay, I never wants to take.
So I just want to say that, and I want to say this last statement, and I'm going to drop off the panel.
Let me say this.
Yeah, I want to address something that's being said here, Information Man.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I need to address
Let me just make these last statements. Now, I know everybody likes to throw around these Kevin Samuel cliches, these Kevin Samuel statements, but Kevin Samuels was 100% wrong about this. Women are not dying alone. Black men are dying alone. You know why? The reason why black women are dying alone, because our asses are dying because of our health disparity problems. I did a damn video about this. I'll shut this shit down right now. We are dying, gentlemen. Black men are dying at 44%. Black men are dying, are considered overweight. You talk about black women being overweight, we're the ones that's overweight too. 37.5% are obese. Black men are suffering more pervasive oral disease, not to mention the prostate cancer that we're dying of. So when you say that black women are going to die alone, a lot of times black women are dying alone because we're dying off. And if that black woman doesn't want to go outside of her race, and we're dying off men because of our health disparities, that's another reason why black women will die alone. Okay, we're getting killed with cancer at 20.2%. Don't play with me. I come up here with facts, gentlemen, not just talk. We got heart disease at 23.7%. Total deaths for our asses. Homicide, we know we're killing each other with this hate another black man bullshit, right? We're hypertension is high at 1.6%. We're getting killed with dying because we don't take care of ourselves. We get up here on YouTube, we bump our gums. But if I asked any of you gentlemen right now, when's the last time you had your health checkup? When's the last time you had your prostate checked? When's the last time you checked with your doctor? I wonder how many of you
About
had your last checkup.
what was 7 months ago? And when you talk
Thank
about
you,
the
sir.
cancer thing,
Thank you.
well, wait a minute, but we talk about the cancer thing. Let's talk about this for a second because I lost my wife to cancer. So
I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you
I
personally.
know, but I get it. I get it. But that's why I had to say, let's pump the brakes just a little bit here, right? Because the other part to this too is you're talking to a brother right now who has done it the right way his whole life.
I'm not saying that you haven't complex. I know who you are, brother.
See, so
you in California just like me, man. I respect you.
I get it. But see, with all due respect, what I get tired of is hearing about the deficiencies of black men when there's productive black men out here who really are not, we don't have the ability to truly get into our lane, because what we always have to do is hear about the deficiencies of the lesser men. And that is something that
I didn't say anything about deficiencies. I simply said I simply named some health disparities that go across health disparities. Don't care how much money you got.
There was also a mention. There was also a mention of what it is that black men are doing out here in terms of their seed. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you want to talk numbers, we can talk numbers, because you do realize that that's only a small percentage of us, right?
Yeah,
we ain't all out here with baby mamas like that. Let's keep it above.
What I'm saying to you is, we know that the number of black men that are doing that, they do not represent the majority of black men. But what I'm saying,
I just want to go ahead and put that on the record.
It's a fact. Brother, you ain't got to tell me that. I do that. I talk about all this shit on my channel. I talk about how black men are marginalized. I understand that. I talk about all this shit. But what I'm saying to you now is
I understand that you did our logo for the Black Brain Trust.
All right, brother.
There's nothing but respect here. But I just needed to understand. I just need to clarify, though, because what was said earlier, I was like, whoa, wait a minute.
Well, let me clarify it for the record today. I'm not saying that it's all what I should have said, respectful to you and everyone on the panel. It's not all black men. Unfortunately, this is what happens, Complex, and you tell me if I'm right or wrong, brother, respectfully. Unfortunately, we have a small percentage of black men who are irresponsible, and then all of us who are not irresponsible, who are doing the right thing, we get labeled.
Thank you. No,
by those black men, and then you see this all over YouTube where black women are talking about us like a dog, right? That's really what I should have said. I got carried away with myself, but that's really what I really wanted to say. It's not all black men.
You get very spirited.
But we do know, well, that's how I am, brother. But you do realize
that's what I'm saying, man. We good, man.
It does take two to tango, and I just think that black women have to be more responsible. We have to be more responsible. And that's why, as a father, and I heard you say you have a daughter, Complex, it is my duty as a man to make sure I steer my daughter in the right way and show the example that she needs to see in what a man is. And any knuckleheads who try to come towards my daughter, and we know that kids are going to do whatever they do. We can't control them. But any knucklehead that I'm aware of, he's got to be vetted through me.
Hey, man, I watch mine like a hawk.
Let me hop back in here. The real issue is, and the reason why I bring up the Kevin Samuels and the talking points or whatever, is because it shines. It's not because we agree with everything that they say or anything. It shines a spotlight on the reality, the cold hard reality, that these women do not respect these men. They will go, they wouldn't work for a man the same way they would work for a college degree. They wouldn't spend years trying to earn, and I mean following his syllabus, whatever. They quick to say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. The chick in the top left just said, you're not worth that just because you have a job or whatever. You're not worth that, being treated that well. But they understand jumping through hoops and suffering for far less. See, they don't value men anymore. And this is a fundamental issue that comes from, like you said, the lack of families. But this is why it's a self-fulfilling prophecy or a chicken or the egg argument, because we won't ever be able to get back to families without fixing that first, because men aren't going to tolerate that. But they'll tell you out of their own mouths that you're not worth it. You're not worth me doing this. That's slave labor. That's not whatever. That's blah, blah, blah. But they have no problem working this hard for other things like a college degree, even on up to PhD, which may take 12 years to get. Right. They understand putting in work for that because they see the value in it. They don't see the value in men. And these black men, that's just what it is.
That's because some of our women are thinking as individuals and only focusing on what they're going to get for themselves. That comes out of, and I hate to say this, that comes out of the I'm the independent woman culture. I don't need a man culture. And ladies, You may disagree with me or not, sister, but you all would sing the song back in the day. Y'all would hum that damn song. Independent woman, I don't need no man. Y'all used to hum that. It was an anthem.
Hold up. I need my husband. I said every man that comes into your life does not deserve that.
You said just because a man has a job and is in the house and you have kids doesn't mean he deserves it. That's what you said, and that's what I said you said. We can rewind it back. BMT, rewind it back right now. I would not be called a liar. Rewind it back right now. She said, and I quote, just because a man has a job and I have kids, that doesn't mean he deserves all that treatment, blah, 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 blah. And I'm telling you information, man, which I know you already know. But I'm telling you, they do not see the value in men the same way they see the value in a college degree or something else that they deem as valuable. They don't work for it. It used to be a woman would bake cookies. You know, the mood back in the day, they write notes. They do things. The woman would put in effort because she understood they don't value men anymore.
So this is what we do, my brother. Those women who do not live up to our those women do not live up to our standards of what we require. Just like women have all these standards for our asses. You leave them alone, and then, like Kevin Samuel says, if we're going to quote him, then those are the women that will die alone without us, whether we're alive or dead due to sickness or not, because we don't choose them. And another reason why we have these problems too, gentlemen, tell me if I'm wrong or right. We got too many of these thirsty ass, you know what's out here, who are messing up the damn game. Because these women can always find...
The game has just changed.
But these women that we don't want, they can still always find a thirsty in the dark dude who gonna creep up and knock on that door one late night, right? They messed the game up.
No, because women have always been able. The only thing that kept women from being able to get sex was the culture and the laws of the time. There's no more morality, left in America. So that's not it. They're not going to get relationships out of these men.
But doesn't that hurt the game for men like ourselves who don't tolerate that, right? You say, well, why are these women like that? There's other variables too, is that they can always get the thirsty beta dude who's going to still be knocking on their door late night creeping. Right?
I disagree because I don't think that it's the sex that keeps them whatever. I think that it's the laws that enable them. I don't think it's the sexual access that enables them.
Okay.
Because I talk about all the time. Actually, I don't think we've been on the panel. When I talk about all the time how the government undermines the family unit and does it on purpose. Right. And that's what I believe enables their behavior, not sexual access. Because if you remove that and women had no help from the government, they would have to act right or they would have to get right themselves.
So the government gives the women entitlement to feel invincible. And at the same time, we know that the government doesn't want to do a damn thing. In the case of us as men, specifically as black men, make us irrelevant and make the woman more relevant, where she doesn't really need us unless she really needs us for something when she at her own beck and call.
Women are not getting government assistance like that. You have to make near to nothing. Even if you make $10 an hour, you don't even qualify for food stamps.
But you know that women can get government assistance and get these programs for them that are designed for them a hell of a lot easier than a man can. And
it's not just any one thing. And I've known women that got public, so they be playing these games with the system. I'm not even gonna get into that because we know that they do that. But it's not just
haul your ass to jail.
It's not just one set of things. It's the disparity of the treatment in family court. Mm-hmm. It's the disparity of the treatment when cops are called to a domestic dispute. If a man doesn't have the whole thing recording, which thankfully, thanks to smartphones, we're seeing more videos like this. It's more often than not the cops just side with the woman. Women are favored in all of these things, all to the detriment of the family unit. That's what this manosphere was born out of, which women don't want to accept. But it was born out of these issues, and that's why we talk about these issues. Even though women belittle them, and unfortunately, some men want to belittle them because they want to try to be alpha or whatever. But that's what this whole entire space was born out of, literally.
BMT, do you have anything to add? Because he been quiet over there.
No, actually, first of all, let me give because this has been a while since me and Charity have done these collabs, and we've actually been rebuilding up the brand, and I mean, like I said, I have my shared thoughts on because the main aspect I'm looking at is that of step parents. In a vast majority of Black society, actually major majority of Black society has been built off of step parents. Either there's been through that of, and I know y'all don't like hearing that, through slavery. It has been through that of Jim Crow. It has been through that through redlining, where guess what? Your kids couldn't get an education in the South, so they were sent up north. We have been doing blended families for multi generations. So I'm not going to pretend that dynamic, which you thought that people think that, oh man, like they don't get no respect, because majority of a lot of your fundamental people in society throughout the world, Jeff Bezos, step parent household. Shaquille O'Neal, step parent household. A lot of men and women in society have come from blended families. America itself is a blended melting pot. So I don't understand so much of the pushback or the fight against that. When literally that
You're right, BMT.
The founding pinnacle. Now I understand, and I'm not calling nothing used, but I'm not calling nothing used, but we always look at, well, this person's already been touched, this person's already been bothered. And I'm like, well, tell that to the kings that would take on women with their children and integrate them into their society. So you have it where we're dealing with that of a situation where the Brady Bunch TV show, that was a whole step parent, step mama dynamic. I'm looking at it as that of the initial respect of, if a man and a woman, and like I respect how Complex Design said, listen, he didn't call his mother, I doubt his father would ever tolerate that, Miss Johnson, or no, that's your stepmother. You will call her mother or mom by her proper title. I don't know, but I assume that as a man, his father will check him like, you're going to respect her as that. Now I understand people are saying, well, I don't want to push that upon my kid, but my house, my rules. And as long as you're in my house, you eating my food, and you're using my bill, you respect that of my rules. That is your mother. Until that person is out of alignment of respect of the household, you will address them as so. And other people, now if a man is saying that I do not care if they, whatever they call me, I kind of side-eye that man or that woman, because those roles mean something. Now, when you go before the court, they're not calling you mister. They call you are the stepmother. You are the custodial guardian of that child. And whoever's in the household, whoever's a certain age, that is your child for that if y'all, especially if y'all are engaged.
Yeah.
And this is how a lot of people say, whoa, hold up. Those ain't my kids. But are you not married to Miss Charity? Yes. Well, congratulations. They are your kids. By law, they're looked at as your children. If something would have happened and we can't get a hold of her, they call it next to kinship, you. So I'm looking at that of the aspect of how people are saying, well, we don't want, and this is how bad society and the welfare state have warped that of people's mind state, where you got the system playing daddy, or the system trying to recreate that of men to think I don't need a woman to be functional. Cynthia G has done numerous streams and pulled up the number of Black men receiving benefits. They get it just as much as women. I mean, okay, I'm not gonna lie. If it is, I mean, I don't see what's the bragging about getting benefits. I'm gonna be honest. I grew up in a time nobody was proud to pull out greenback on welfare dollars. Y'all remember welfare dollars? Nobody was proud to pull. Y'all remember having to wait in line and you got to pull out that food stamp money?
Oh, the book.
Nobody liked doing that. Nobody liked doing that when I was in the grocery store. They actually used to.
But here's the thing, BMT. The issue, what you said is right about everything used to be blended and all of that's true. But the difference is the lack of respect now. For example, we all talked about the McDonald's video where the woman threw the McDonald's. Now, whether that was real or not isn't the point. It's the sentiment when people believed it was real, the entitlement that women have these days. That man brought food for his child and she disrespected him openly and threw the food because he refused to feed her other bastard children. Now, the sentiment when you go to those comments, that's the entitlement that prevails today. So there's literally no respect like there used to be. There's no win-win for it. There's no win for the man to do it these days. There's just not. And for men to step up and continue to do it when there's no more respect, no more honor in the position is crazy. What'd you say?
I was gonna say he shouldn't have had kids with somebody that already had kids. As a mother, why would you let one child sit and eat and the other kids sitting and looking and
see? She agrees with the woman from the video. See, BMT, my point made in real time.
Okay, now I'm gonna say this, and I understand that.
I don't feel like he
in real time.
Listen. Let me clarify. I don't feel like he had to buy all of the kids McDonald's, but why couldn't he, take his child away so like the other kids wouldn't feel?
She didn't allow it. He said that she didn't allow it. Did you see the video?
Not the whole thing. I only saw like a short clip of
it. Yeah, he said send them out and we'll eat in the car and I'll send them back. And her jealousy and her hatred for him and her entitlement made her say no. And you had women in the comments saying yes. If you go back to the video, you can see all the comments of the thousands of women saying yes, agreeing, blah, 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 blah. And even you just agreed with it. This is what happens in this modern day. It's gone, BMT. I personally don't think it's ever coming back. But the entitlement is crazy and the respect is gone. It just is.
I understand what you're saying, J.I. I understand what you're saying, in the sense that, and because the thing about it is, if we're just mother and father, right? We made a baby, hypothetically.
Mm-hmm.
It is not upon me to go get your other kids' school clothes. My job is to make sure my children. My child.
They've been doing that for a whole week.
What?
They've been doing that for a whole week.
Oh, look, he got a mute.
Hold on, Shannon.
Hey, mute Shannon. I don't think he knows he's off mute.
Yeah. So it's upon me to take care of my child. Now, I understand if you had a baby or something, and some men, they don't mind. Okay, your baby needs some shoes or some booties, whatever little shit. You know what I'm saying? If we are in a compliant agreement, it is upon me if I want to help you. I don't have to help you. Now, the child I did make, that is who I'm feeding, because that is my obligated responsibility by law. But
right.
Other than when he have kids, like he knew this.
That's beside the point.
It's not beside the point, because she had stated how previously he was doing for the other kids and all of this and that. But
that was when they were together.
If that's your first child, why would you have your first child with somebody that already got a handful of kids? But y'all want to hold.
He was being a fool, and he was trying to do that stepdaddy thing that we talking about right now, and then he suffered for it.
But
Always
y'all
a man.
which is
hold
just
women accountable, but like with men, it was a foolish mistake. But y'all want to burn women at the stake. Like, yeah, he was a fool. He shouldn't have fucking had his first child with somebody that already had multiple kids. That's stupid.
yeah. He made a mistake trying to do the stepdad thing because he didn't see the string first, and he didn't hear me tell him not to do it because it's a bad idea and it's a thankless job. And that's why I'm on here telling him, don't do it because it's a thankless job. And then she's gonna try to make you responsible for her other bastards because they daddy not there, and she's gonna try to feed them off you, which is what happened in that video. And all those women agree. You agreed with it. It's crazy. This is insane. And that's why I'm telling men not to do it.
That proves my point from earlier.
Go
What's
ahead.
really going on out here? That's what's really going on.
Okay.
The women act like they act because there's always a dude. Dude, the girl had 2 babies by 2 other guys. Here he come make a baby too. Really? Is that what type of man run around here? And as far as it being
his
like,
was the third kid, I think.
that's what I'm talking about. She had
Yeah,
2 other kids by 2 other dudes, and then here he come making a baby
Right.
too.
Right, Shan. Listen, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was smashing in the guts of a lot of single mothers. I ain't gonna lie. I was out there.
Come
bro.
on, we all
I
were.
ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie about that.
But that's one of the talking points.
I was
Yeah, that's one of the talking points. It's a lie. It's not a small majority of men making all the babies. It's actually the larger. Dude,
Get 'em
this thing about
complex.
this
Get
Pookie
'em
and Ray
complex.
Ray, this dude thing about Pookie and Ray Ray and 20% making all the kids, that is a lie. We all got
I'm gonna let
kids.
Complex get you on that. I'm gonna let
We all
Complex
got
get you on
kids.
that one.
We all got kids, dude. The nerds got kids. The Pookies got kids. The hardworking man has kids. Everybody has kids. So these 20%, who are they? Who are the 20% and who's the 80 that
Complex
don't have
must have
kids?
stepped away.
Complex
He
has a
lucky
child.
Complex must have stepped away. I know, but
He has a child.
he's the one that always
What?
debunks that point.
He don't have a kid?
Complex has
The only person on this panel that
I
doesn't
don't
have a kid is you. That's the only one. Everybody else has a kid.
Complex has a children.
Yeah, all the other men
I have
kids.
kids. BMT has kids. She has kids. It looks like the majority. That's what I'm talking about.
That's just on this panel. We can't use this panel as
Oh my God, we can go all day. Okay, let's talk about content
All right,
creators.
I'm not going to argue that point, Shannon.
Say this right now. And Charity is a woman. Most men will hit on a single mother faster than they hit on a woman with no kids.
We don't disagree with that. It's because they're seeing as easy targets.
I just came back from getting some weed. What are you guys talking about? I'm sorry.
Hey, Complex. Shannon said that the 20% of the men, black men having the kids is a lie. He said it's the other way around.
Wait, he said what was that?
He said that the myth that it's only 20% of our community of the men having all the kids is a lie, and it's the other way around. I told him you would get with him on that.
No, it's no. What? So what you have to do is you have to look at the age groupings of men and how many kids those men in those age groupings have, and then they break it down, and then it's broken down from there. Now, I'll tell you.
To census.gov, they say among black men, 72% have had a child out of wedlock and 48% have had one in marriage. And then it breaks it down by Hispanic and other races.
Right, but see, those numbers actually overlap, right? Because to say 48, what was it? 48% what?
72% out of wedlock and 48% one in marriage.
Wait, 72% of men have a child out. That's insane.
Yeah, because it's true. Those are stats, man.
And this is just for black.
Wait, no, I mean, I can't even see how that's true.
That doesn't add up to 100%.
Huh?
No.
She said 78% have children out of wedlock and then 42% have one in marriage. How does that make sense?
Okay. So this is the thing. We got to understand when we read this. Okay, that would be of the men who have children. So that means that of the less than 50% of men who have children, 78% of those are out of wedlock. Yes.
No, I get that, but that's impossible for 78% of that to be out of wedlock, but then 48% of that to be in marriage. That math isn't math.
Well, I was gonna say,
is what
right,
I'm
and
saying.
so I'm saying, like, that's why I'm like, you have to kind of dig into, like, what are the parameters behind those numbers. But I'm saying that general statistic, 72%, they say 72% of men who have children have them out of wedlock. That may or may not be true, but I'm saying that's 72 or whatever the number is of the only, 48% of men who actually have children. You get what I mean? So it's 72% of 48%.
Yeah, I get what you mean on that.
Yeah,
I get what you mean on
let's
that,
make
but I'm
sure we
saying
get
it's
the
impossible.
numbers right, 'cause I was like, wait, 80% of men have children. That's bullshit.
No, it's impossible for 78% of them to have children outside of wedlock,
That's
and then
not
40
damn
something
right.
percent to have children in wedlock, because it has to equal 100%, is what I'm saying. But I know what you're
Well,
saying.
let
Yeah.
me do y'all a little favor here. And they have it like broken down by race.
But I'm not looking at the statistics right now. But that's a mathematical impossibility.
I just got back, so.
But moving on,
I know that
past
sounded
that
off
while she's
because I
doing
didn't
that.
even have my first child. I had my first child at 35. Okay, so
But you were married though.
right? And I wasn't part of the father statistic up until 35. That was only a scant 10, 11 years ago, right? And that's a lot of people that I know didn't have. A lot of guys that I know didn't have kids back. It's like I knew dudes had kids, but it wasn't the majority of dudes that.
I can't read it. It's too the print is too small for me to see on my phone.
Yeah, I can't see it either, but yeah, but
But
as far as that,
beyond that,
it's kind of a talking point that got popularized. It wasn't never true. I mean, I understand content, but it's not true. It's just not true.
You gotta understand something, dude. I know I have a lady friend, right? I won't say too much about her, right? Okay, but she has a daughter, right? She has one child, right? But her baby dad has like 11 kids or like 12 kids with 11 women. Okay? Now, when I know there's a bunch of niggas that got like hella kids like that, this is where it gets really hard for me to buy this type of shit, given that I literally only have one, right? And like my brothers, like the two that my younger brother has, that was with his wife. The three that my other younger brother has, that was with his wife, right? You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Peep what you're saying though.
Complex. What number was she in the order?
Huh?
Was she his first?
Bro, I
baby mom?
I never asked. I don't have a clue.
Yeah, but people what you're saying, they all have
but
kids.
I'm just
though.
saying, like, dude, they was like, he's got, bro. Put it like this: he got two chicks pregnant during the pandemic, yo. Like, it's insane. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, I understand that. That's on top of the guys that have kids in their marriages or have one kid. Those all are on top of the dudes that are making 20 kids. Like in the neighborhood I'm in right now, I know about 6 guys. They got kids by all kind of women. But everybody around here has a child. There's not too many. I think out of all the people I know in this small town that I'm in, there's probably like 3 dudes that don't have kids at all. You know what I'm saying? I can say the same thing about certain women.
I will be one of those 3.
Yeah,
well, okay, but
it's not a big number.
But it's the ratio of the ratio of women who have multiple children by multiple men is more than the ratio of men who have multiple children by multiple women.
Yeah, that's the part I would agree with.
Okay. So what that right there tells you is that the number is actually skewed to a smaller number of men. Why? Because there's more men, there's more women who have children by multiple men than there are men who have children by multiple women, which means that there's a smaller number of men giving those women with multiple children by multiple fathers all the damn babies.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
That's what I mean. It's like you gotta actually look. You gotta
Chastity,
break.
let me ask you a question.
Look at the shit correctly.
Chad, let me ask you a question. Do you agree that men should have financial abortion rights? Just in your personal opinion.
No, women don't have abortion rights. So what do you like? They forcing us to have kids. So why do y'all feel like y'all shouldn't have to pay for them?
Y'all do have abortion rights. They just limit it to the state instead of it being a federal right. It's on a state by state basis. So if you happen to fall in a state that doesn't allow it, you can just go to another state or another place that does allow it. So y'all do still have those rights.
To travel, like pay for flights 4 states away to be able to get an abortion.
Then that's what they have. You still have the right to do it though. So should men have the financial equivalent? Because y'all still can do it. Even in some cases, it's more inconvenient now. In some cases, not everywhere, but in some places, it may be more inconvenient, but you can still do it. So do you agree that men should be able to have a financial equivalent?
Okay. I didn't know you were asking.
It depends on the situation.
But it doesn't depend on the situation for a woman to have a deletion. So why should it depend for the man?
Well, I would say
Crickets.
this.
Hold on, Complex. Hold on, Complex. Let her answer.
Okay.
I'm trying to see what you're getting at. Like, what's?
I just want to hear your answer. You said it depends on the situation, but it doesn't depend on the situation for women to be able to do it. So I'm asking you, why do you say it depends on the situation for the man?
I mean, most women are being talked into abortion by Dusty. Like, what you want to make kids and not take care of them? What's your point of asking this here?
That's not.
I would say most abortions happen, and the guy who got the chick pregnant never even knows.
Y'all supposed to say deletions. That's also true, Complex. But to her point, you asking me this, I'm trying to understand why you want men for it to be special circumstances, but it's not special circumstances for women. Men deserve the right for whatever reason they want, even if they just want to not take care of the kid. Just like a woman can have it for whatever reason she wants, even if she just doesn't want to have a kid. So why are you putting special stipulations on men?
It's a higher percentage of men not taking care of their kids.
That's not the question I asked.
Yes.
The question is, you said it depends on the circumstances for men to be able to have financial deletion. But I'm saying to you that it does not depend on the circumstances for a woman to have it.
Well,
why are you saying it should depend on men?
Attorney sign over your rights, do it like the legal way. You just
okay. So you agree that they should have financial abortion. So you believe that they should have it then?
In certain instances, yes.
What are these instances? Because again, there's not a certain instance for a woman to have it. A woman can just decide to because she flipped a coin, if that's what she did. Why do you want to put certain instances for men? Is what I'm asking you.
Because
I mean, if this is
hold on, let her answer. Answer.
It's an outlier to everything. Nothing is absolute. I mean, now if you
that's what he's saying is that for women it is absolute. It's basically your absolute. It's your absolute decision, right? Versus you're saying for men, well, I see it being viable under certain conditions. He's asking you what those conditions are, and you're not saying it. To this, I would say if we are really trying to eye for equality here, then that means that we should allow for equal rights across the board, basically. So I kind of fundamentally understand where J.I. is coming from. And so when he's asking,
I understand as well, but why even put yourself in this?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to say.
That's not the question.
That's not the question. The question is, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Two people are put into it. It's not just one. It's two. The difference here is that one has a certain set of rights afforded to them. The other doesn't. That's not equal. Right. And I'm saying if we're to look at this fundamentally from a legal and a lawful aspect, we're not looking at proper adjudication of the law.
Yeah, but you have to literally put yourself in that situation.
No, that's not what we're talking about.
Women get like stuck with the kid regardless.
A woman also has the decision to completely get rid of it. And let's just say the man doesn't want her to get rid of it. His
can't stop her.
wants, yeah, it doesn't matter, right? So you see, so what we're looking at is, you see, was that Lady Justice, right? She's blind, and the scales are balanced. In this regard, they're imbalanced.
Now, what say you, Chastity, to that?
I mean, I understand what Complex is saying in certain aspects, as far as like if the guy wants the baby and she aborts it, but I mean, majority of the time that is not the case. Let's be real here.
Okay, but let's say
you not going to answer my question?
No, wait, hold on. What J.I. is saying though, so in the inverse, right? So let's just say in the inverse,
it just seems to me like J.I. don't want to take accountability. Why not
No, that's not what he's asking. Let's keep it. Let's keep it on the question that he's asking, right? Because it's a very legitimate question. On the inverse, she wants to get rid of it and he doesn't. Does he have any say so? No, he doesn't. So that means the scales of justice are imbalanced. It is what it is.
So what say you to that, Chastity? Or do you think he has a say? Those will determine.
I don't know. Like, I know a lot of women not just wanting to kill their baby. I mean, some.
You don't know if he has a choice. No, that wasn't the question. He said, can the man stop her from doing it? That's the question. Legally, can a man stop her?
Right? Does he have any legal?
No, legally, because the woman is the
then
one.
That's exactly where that's exactly the crux of where J.I.'s argument is.
So, do you agree that men should have financial abortion rights? Now the Complex has walked you through it, nice and Disney friendly style. Do you agree now?
Let me ask this question right here. So let me ask this question.
They keep saving you, Chastity.
No, well, I'm not saving anything. I just want to know what is the man putting on the line during the pregnancy? What is he putting on the line during the pregnancy?
From a physical standpoint? From what standpoint?
You know, when a woman has a child, it takes a toll on their body that they don't get back.
That's their biological problem.
Well, it's not a problem. It's really just in terms of what he's asking. It's neither here nor there.
So I'm just saying, because most women they take on gestational diabetes. Hold on. Wait, you're trying to invalidate that. Well, those are physical problems that they have to deal with for the rest of their lives.
But that does not have to do.
It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with it.
So are you gonna? Okay, so let's say the woman says, okay, I will financially take you off of this. However, you financially have to be accountable for that of the problems that come with my body, because I am taking you off of that child support. Are you going to do that? Like, are you going to?
No, because she chose to have it. He didn't want anything to do with it. She chose.
Wait, J.I., what if she chooses to delete the baby and as a result of that has some issue with her body? Is he responsible then?
Okay, so I'm glad you asked that. Now, but I actually did an interview over there at an abortion clinic. Now, first thing they ask is, are you being forced or coerced into getting an abortion? If anybody's ever been there, they literally would ask the woman in a private room, are you being forced? If not, then they'll go on from there. Now, a woman does not get an abortion within that of the same day. They do not administer the pill. I know everybody thinks of the extreme of when they're doing that, of the dissection, of breaking down the child. If it's at a certain period, because the pregnancy is done off in certain segments. If she is within a certain segment of the pregnancy, they won't operate. But it could cause immeasurable damage to her internal body, right, Charity? Where they're like, okay, we're going to possibly end up killing her or doing some damage, and nobody wants that lawsuit. So the thing about it is,
oh my God, your name is Charity? I'm sorry, I was calling Chastity. My bad.
Yeah, it's okay. Now the thing about it is,
I know that after like 20 weeks, a lot of states won't do them, but
they won't touch certain states.
But
Now
this is
you
still
ask-
getting
We've gotten away from the point.
This
We've
is
gotten
getting
away from the question.
Wait. But you want to know about the financial abortion. Now, the financial abortion, that's no more than just that of calling up a legal attorney and you signing over your parental rights. Now, if you got the money, then yeah. So she said, I'll tell you what, you can financially abort the baby for at least about give me $10,000 out and we can sign these papers.
That's not a financial abortion.
That's not a financial abortion.
Pay off.
Whoa, wait. She gave you the clause, $10,000.
No. We're not. No. We're not gonna play like this. Financial abortion is the man gets to abort his rights. He doesn't owe her anything.
Yeah.
It's fuck her. He doesn't owe her a goddamn thing. Fuck her. She doesn't get anything. She still has the choice to do whatever she wants. This isn't, I don't care what she has to go through. I don't care about her hardship. I don't care about her morning sickness. I don't care about her stretch marks. I don't care about any of that shit. A man deserves the right to opt out because a woman has the right to opt out. I don't care what happens to her after the fact.
Really
So
kind of like
period.
the fundamental. That's sort of like the fundamental context of what he's talking about.
So what if I told
Thank
you
you, Complex.
What if I told you, okay, so what if I told you men were already doing that?
No, there is no such thing. There is no financial abortion. A man leaving and not being there is not financial abortion. No, we keep playing. We're not gonna play around with this.
Men were
That's
financially
not
already
financial abortion.
Wait, hold on. Wait. So if a man, and Shannon, let me know if I'm wrong about this. If a man quits his job and they go to the man to say, hey, what can you give? I don't got a job. I don't have nothing to offer this kid or anything. What are they gonna hit that?
That's no.
That's not
No,
financial abortion.
No. What he's talking about is literally the same right that a woman has to either terminate a child, give it up for adoption, all of that, right? The woman does not have to.
How about
It's
y'all
more-
hold yourself to the same standard that y'all have?
No. It's not about standards because here's the thing, right? If you're going to talk about standards, I'm a single parent to my daughter, so let's keep that out of the conversation.
And I have no children.
This is a legal question that he's asking. Like, this doesn't
Thank
have
you,
any
Complex.
Yeah, it doesn't have a personal inference to this. This
Well,
is a legal question that he's asking.
Well, when I said, are you going to be able to compensate that woman? You can say
She doesn't deserve compensation.
I said, fuck all that. I don't give a fuck about that.
She
So
doesn't deserve compensation.
Okay. And that with that same thought, that same line of logic. So if a woman decides to either terminate the baby or give it up or whatever against the man's wishes, does he get compensated?
No, he does not.
No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Not
so
at all.
what are we talking about compensation for then? Because
I'm not-
again, once again, Lady Justice, she has a blindfold on. But in this instance in which we're talking about here, the scales of justice they're imbalanced. And that's
Have you
what
ever-
J.I.
Thank
That's
you,
why
Complex.
Okay, so hold on. So I'm gonna ask you this. Let me ask you this, Complex. So you ever heard of surrogate pregnancies?
surrogate pregnancies?
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard of a surrogate pregnancy.
Okay, so does the surrogate have to give that mother the child?
Does he have to do what?
Does she have to give that mother the child?
Our sisters get released from the
Shannon, you got to mute up.
That's a contract right there, right? So it's all written in contract as to what the surrogate has to do.
Well, actually, no, they don't, because actually, if the surrogate gives birth to that child, it's up to the surrogate to give that child to the mother, whether there's a contract or not. That's still that surrogate mother.
But they can face financial damages for that though if they back out though.
I'm saying if a woman is signing on to basically carry to term a baby for someone else, right? There is typically a contract involved. If you do that and there's not, shame on you. But I'm saying those type of things typically have a contract involved, right? So that is what it is. But once again,
and they can be sued if they back out.
If they
Okay.
do that.
Clear.
But once again,
I'm trying to talk about this. This
don't-
don't
wait,
have
wait.
nothing to do with stepdaddies.
It
Well,
don't.
no.
It really don't. It doesn't.
Let's
I
get
know.
ready to
I'm
wrap
saying
this up.
I don't
I
know.
would like
but
to put something in on
we're
this
just getting
when
away
y'all
from the
get
question
through.
that J.I. asked. That's all.
Okay,
Thank
no,
you,
that's
Complex,
fine.
for
That's
pulling it
fine,
back.
but I'm just saying,
The
we're gonna
question
finance the
is
budget.
I'll be right
J.I.
back. I'll be right back.
Stupid. It don't have nothing
It's not
to
a
do
stupid
with
question.
what we're initially talking about.
Well,
Just
technically,
keep on and don't have no kids until you marry, J.I., and then you won't have to worry about financial abortion. That's my advice to
yeah.
you.
Well,
That's
BMT,
not that's not an
we had
answer.
two.
I probably say
Look,
that. I probably
mute
understand
him
that.
because I'm about to mute him. We had 2 hours and 49 minutes, BMT.
You ready? If you're ready to wrap it up, go ahead and wrap it up. I think you did a good job on your first time. I'm gonna honestly tell y'all right now. I'm
my
gonna
bad, BMT.
give it to you. Financial abortion will never pass that at the Supreme Court level.
And now
Well,
that
it's not a law.
listen,
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's
now
not.
that
It's
they've
not.
outlawed abortion in certain states, now child support is gonna be starting at pregnancy. They have
Yeah.
started proposing bills like that into
That's it. That's,
legislation.
y'all gonna wish that Roe v. Wade shit never went out the window. But hey,
Mhm.
Well, I
They-
want to interject on the child support thing and the financial abortion. It's child support. This is where people are messing up. Child support is not a law. It's not a law. They make you go into arbitration
No,
with a
he don't
woman.
have nothing else better to talk about. I'm sorry.
Well,
Go ahead.
it's not a law, so you can't turn it over. Like there's nothing to turn over. What you're doing is you're literally going into the courthouse signing a contract with another woman. That's what child support is. That's why you can go to jail for it, because you can't go to jail for bills. What they do is they go in and they take 15 to 10% of your net income, whatever you make, because they look, put your social security number in, they get your money. They
Right.
take that and they take the money off of that. Now, the second thing they do is they put a loan to where your kids have to have health care. So you're literally paying the state for health care. That's what the child support really is. So you pay the state for health care, and then on top of that, they give you a loan that says this is how much your child's worth for this amount of period of time. So say for instance, it's $30,000 a month. They literally give you a loan signed as a contract with her saying that you owe her, well, you don't owe her, but you owe the state $30,000. And then they tax it and put interest rates on it. That's what child support is. So you can't have a financial abortion form because it's not even a law. You literally they're scribbling up contracts with people, between two people, and the state's involved in it. That's what child support is. It's not a law. Like if you have a baby by a woman, you don't owe her anything, but they go in and make you, well, they really force you. They force you to sign a
Listen,
contract.
they short circuit on the financial board because they can't handle the imbalance of it. It destroys their minds.
It's not a
to think
law.
about it.
Don't have kids. If
It's
you
not
don't
a
have
law.
kids, it don't even
This
apply.
all you have. The situation goes. You really have to
She
put
can't
yourself in that
handle it.
situation.
She's short circuiting.
Like, say for instance this.
No,
software is
you
short
don't want
circuiting.
accountability.
Say for instance
Y'all
this.
love saying women shouldn't have kids for this type of man, this and that. Well,
They
men
shouldn't.
don't have kids. If you don't have no kids, you don't have to worry about financial abortion.
I'm gonna tell you right
this
now.
is a dumbass discussion. This is stupid.
It's not a dumb discussion,
About this.
and that's why you're triggered. That's why she's triggered.
I ain't
Because
triggered.
I'm telling you,
married to
man.
my children, daddy. I ain't triggered. My
She-
husband here
she-
every
and
night. I
she
don't have
still
to worry about child support.
Triggered. She's still
It's
triggered by this
stupid. It is stupid.
because it gets too close to home for men watching. Watch how. Just look at her reaction.
I gotta
Just look at how triggered she gets to the logic.
Because this is
Now,
a
J.I.,
dumb
I have
They
a
start
question.
short
has
circuiting.
nothing to do with the title. This
But
has
J.I.,
nothing to
let me-
do with what the discussion is about.
Jay, I
That's
got a
not why they
question.
triggered.
Why are more men stepping into stepfathers than financial abortion?
I believe it's because of the programming, BMT, and I see it here vehemently. My answer to that is because of the programming. See, we see less and less men stepping into the stepfather role, which is why women are complaining about that they can't find good men and blah, 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 blah. But I believe that the programming, see, men are taught to fall on the sword, and financial abortion would be helping men. And men are taught that they should just suffer in silence. There's shame, the shaming tactics. You know, we heard what she said. You just want to be irresponsible. All those type of shaming language that doesn't apply to the women.
Not taking care of their kids.
I'm trying to answer his question. It's the shaming tactics and the shaming language because, see, they call men irresponsible, but when women have the same rights, abortion rights, they're not called irresponsible. They're even seen as heroic when they do, and oh, you were so strong and blah 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 blah. Men aren't given that. Men are
That is
shamed
not true.
and called dusty and all this stuff for legal equality. And Complex broke it down so simply, and then the triggering happened. But that's my answer to that question. It's because the stepdaddiness is still promoted, you know, by the sisterhood, and the things that actually help men, financial abortion, and actually make the laws equal, men are just taught to they're shamed into falling on the sword.
Well, I'm just saying, like, here's the thing
That
about it.
is not true.
If men,
What's not true about it?
hold up, if men want to be equal to men of certain caliber and standard, then they're going to look to that man to have a certain type of code of conduct. A man that doesn't take care of his children or take care of his responsibilities, he can't sit at a table with men that are doing certain type of kind of work. Like a man like Trump was getting railroaded because he had children with multiple baby mothers. They were going after him, clowning him for that. Like, so if other societies does not mind clowning men and also getting on women by having multiple suitors for children, it's kind of
No. Bastards are shunned all the time.
Well, the men are shunned all the
Women
time.
are constantly getting shamed for it. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Women get praised.
everybody gets that. Like, no matter what.
Since the beginning of time, bastards have even they even show it and depict it. What's something popular people watch? Game of Thrones. That's a popular thing that people can relate to. Since the beginning of time, bastards have been shunned. People don't respect kids out of wedlock. You can go on Reddit, go on YouTube, watch these videos of men telling stories of how their mistress or side chick, whatever you want to call them, had a kid and they did not acknowledge them or whatever. And you got women making videos. You can find them on YouTube right now talking about how, you know, they wish they wouldn't have done it because the father was never in their life. They were just a side chick, and oh, how could he ignore his kids like this and blah blah. That happens all the time.
So here's a question
But
that
you
I would
just
ask.
said women get praised for it. Now you
Yeah, women do get praised. They will. A woman is seen as, oh, you were so strong for giving up your child to adoption so it could have a better life and blah blah blah. Oh, you put the child first, blah blah. When really what she did was give up her responsibility. But men in that same instance are shamed and talked about, oh, how he's a deadbeat and blah blah blah. I'm not gonna play like that's not the case.
Hold on, Jay.
Gotta be crazy.
Hold on, Jay. I got Complex and Shannon here. I'm gonna show you something.
Okay.
When women got pregnant in high school, what did they do to the girls in high school when they got pregnant?
Moved them to a whole nother town.
They got removed out of the population.
Yep.
Nothing.
That's not happening today. That's not happening now. Now they throwing baby showers and all kind of foolishness.
Whoa, hold on now. That didn't happen to the men. Now you said that, mind you, back in the day, they were a lot more strict on that. Then now men were complaining, I don't get to see my kids, I don't get to be around my kids. Men were still going out there having babies, even though they already made a baby. I'm just showing you the context. The men were already made a baby with one teenage girl, and then go off and make another goddamn baby when the girl already got moved out of the school. They used to have a separate class for the women. The thing about it was they found it unfair that they were kicking the girls out of the class, but they didn't kick the boys out of the class, and the boys would stay be in the class in the school. How was that fair? Why does the girl get kicked out?
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about them making girls get kicked out of school. But the whole ship her away till she has a kid, I know that's an old school thing. They don't do that nowadays. These kids they're celebrating it, having baby showers and all kind of foolishness.
Okay.
Baby showers have become the replacement for weddings.
Okay, so why? Okay, now you want fair and equal. Why wasn't it like that back in the day? Now, back in the day, the man used to take the child from the woman.
The laws don't allow that anymore. The laws changed.
So you want to take the child from one?
Children used to be the property of the man. You're right, BMT. Children used to be the property of the man. That's how it was viewed. But we don't live under those laws anymore.
Why should the child be snatched away from the biological mother?
I don't think that Are you saying that if he want? Okay, so we're away from the financial abortion now. So now you're asking a different question. You're asking, should
No, I'm asking
children?
about that of fairness. I'm asking about that of fairness. Most men.
It's unfair now because the women get the kids most of the time. That's what the tender years thing is. The courts rule that children need their mother, blah 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 blah, and they favor the mother.
Now, what if I told you most men do not care to go to court to battle for their kids?
I don't believe that's true. I believe that we can look at examples like the lead attorney will tell the examples and stories of how men lose everything trying to pay to fight because women don't have to fight. Men have to come up with resources to pay to fight in the first place. And the reason that they have to do that is unfair. Men shouldn't have to come up with these resources and financially put themselves through hardship just to try to have their kids. That's unfair and unbalanced when the woman doesn't have to do that at all. That's unfair. The system is broken. And that's what these men are complaining about. And that's one of the many gripes. That's one of the many gripes of this space, the unfair and unjust family court system.
Wait. You think this? Now, who do you think made the system? The women or the men?
The men, yeah, men made the system.
Who do you think enforces the system? The men or the women?
Yeah, men enforce the system.
Who's upping the laws against that of the men?
Again, it's men that are enforcing the law.
Okay, so if it's the men, if you're going against that of equality, you're dealing with men that are in position of status and power that are dubbing these men deadbeats and unaccountable men. They're the ones that are going after these men.
The system, yes, and I say all the time that the men, and shout out to you for inspiring me to make my petition, the men need to go after the system. And I say, BMT, don't I always say that the women are a symptom of the disease and that men are going to have to change these things legally? Don't I always say that, BMT?
Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough, but I'm saying this, okay?
But I don't have the legal system on these panels, so we talk about the symptoms of the disease.
But now, here's the thing about it: a man, most men, I told you, most American society does not mind marrying into a blended relationship. Most children are raised in a blended environment, so it's kind of like it's kind of like if a child was raised in a positive blended environment with a stepfather or stepmama, why would they be for that of a certain extent? I'm just pointing out, like if a dad like that dad that says, hey, my dad did not step in, he financially aborted out, and now I'm gonna make sure that any other man will not leave my mama or whoever's suffering. What do you do then?
Men are going to have to continue to fight for their interests. Here's what women do that I respect on a political level. Women rally around their interests, right? They vote in what's in their interest, which is why we have even Chastity above me, even though she's married, she still pushed back against financial abortion because she's on code. All right, they're on code. Women remain on code for themselves. They don't go against their best interests the way that men do. And that's why men put us in this situation. So when you ask what's going to happen when the person gets financially aborted, he becomes a judge and he's angry, men are going to have to work harder to keep those people from going against our interests once we're able to even get that put in place to begin with.
Okay. Like I said, I just know that a lot of these children that had their mothers exodus out of class because of the baby daddy, and I'm just looking at the context of what I was born in. If a girl got pregnant in school and she got removed out of the school, but the boy got to stay in, that child grew up remembering that. If children remember how the parents treated the other parent, and so if the child says, "Hey, I got you," the man said, "I got you pregnant. You're not my fucking problem," or you have it where some women saying, "You know what? I don't want this nigga around my child anyway." You got that where I hear a lot of men say, "Well, I don't get to see my kid anyway." nigga, I don't want your money. I don't want shit from you. I'm just saying, like, the financial aborting thing has been, I've been seeing that since the 80s.
And it still needs to get pushed through. It still needs to get pushed through. You know what? People were talking about slavery for a long time before it got ended, and people all kind of things. Just because things take time doesn't mean that they won't come to fruition. We had all kind of years of slavery, then we had all kind of years of Jim Crow, and then eventually people kept fighting and they got it passed. Men are going to have to do the same thing on this issue. Just because it takes a long time or it may seem impossible, I'm sure on the Underground Railroad people felt like it was impossible, but you keep trying, you keep pushing, and one day somebody's going to get it through. But in order for that to happen, and my place in this, as I've always said, it begins with the conversation. And that's why governments, I know you know this, BMT being in the military, formerly being in the military, you know that power is in propaganda and what people are talking about, which is why governments censor people and you're not allowed to talk about certain things during certain times. They would censor the conversation because all of this begins with conversation. And me sparking, somebody's going to hear me saying this and they're going to think, hey, I never thought about this like that. I never thought about this is unfair. I just thought it always had to be this way. And it may light the fire, even if the torch has to get passed for 5 more generations. Somebody's going to get it done. Somebody is going to get it done. Then stop fucking, then you don't have to worry about it. That's not an answer to the question. That's a disingenuous way to try to dismiss the question, which is fine, which is what most women do. They're programming glitches when it comes to things like this because they recognize that it goes against their interests. And they're smart for doing that. This is why I will continue to spread this message to men because it has to be said. And in the same way, the manosphere, and I know you don't consider yourself part of the manosphere anymore, but the same way that the manosphere speaks on issues of men that aren't broadly spoken about and we bring awareness to it, this is just another one of those issues. And people shit on the manosphere for that. People don't like to hear things that go against their interests. I get it. The shaming tactics, these so-called men, these lies, vet women properly. There's no such thing as vetting. That's a lie because it's the laws that allow them to do what they do. It has nothing to do with vetting. Women don't go into abortion clinics and they say, well, how long did you vet that man? That's not on there. That's not a question on the questionnaire. How long did you know the man? Did you vet him properly? No, that's not a question. They are able to do it because it's their right to do it. Men, we have to fight for our rights with the same tenacity that women fight for theirs.
Okay. Right, Charity. Baby Gigi, it's time for her to eat. Time for us to wrap it up. Y'all, we have more topics. This is just our intro topic that we haven't done in a long time. Charity is full steam ahead. India lasted really good. I think you did the numbers. I know, baby Gigi. Gigi. Y'all say hello to my god, baby Gigi. She's like, listen, this went too damn long. Like, God, man. Shout out to everyone. I'm very proud. Charity, you did the damn thing. You did the damn thing today.
Yeah, you know, I definitely don't go 3 hours.
Yeah, the charity, like Gigi, I was watching you snapping the camera down on the ground. You should get there soon enough. But listen, when God baby said turn off that, I gotta obey the head CEO of the channels. So, y'all want to know the CEO?
All right, good talk, y'all. I'm about to slide out. Thanks, BMT.
Thank y'all for coming on.
Thank you, Charity. Wrap it up with the last words of wisdom. You got it. This is all you.
Y'all really covered pretty much everything. And although I don't completely agree with J.I., I understand his point of view, but we'll just have to agree to disagree. But I'm definitely glad he came on with us tonight. And Information Man and Complex, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We'd love to have you back again. And even to like y'all that's watching on live with us, thank y'all so much. The chat was lit tonight. I definitely have to say that, Joe. I really had fun interacting with y'all. And if y'all haven't already, hit the subscribe on my channel as well, Charity the Realtor. And of course, hit the subscribe for BMT and Complex's channel. And that's pretty much all I have to say, Joe. Oh, and too, y'all follow me on Instagram. Yep. Charity_the_realtor.
If y'all enjoy these, and I want to give a special shout out to my brother Complex. Thank you for coming by. I hope you definitely enjoyed the conversation, brother. I know we definitely did. Like I said, and Charity actually agreed to an extent about some of the stuff about financial abortion. She just doesn't agree. She just wants to be accountable. Gigi done walked off. Y'all got, yeah, like I said, shout out to India. I think this is the first time I heard actually doing the panel, and I know she had fun. We definitely have more shows in the works. I told y'all we're definitely building a different brand of balanced conversations, and we're going to keep moving forward with that. We'll see you guys later. Thank y'all for stopping through. Charity was enjoying. I know Charity was reading the chat, y'all. I'm telling y'all right now, if y'all gonna say something in the chat, India and Charity, they're gonna see it faster than me. I don't even read the chats. That must be a thing that Charity, India, and Mahogany they be doing. They be catching everything in the chat.
And like Friday, I'm gonna try to get my husband to come on because like he be having a
lot. Good luck getting that one.
Yeah, he be having a lot to say. And too, I was gonna tell JI, I do stuff like that for my husband, but like just some random man that I'm dating, in which that's a whole nother talk. We'll say that for a different day. That's enough. Peace, y'all.
See y'all guys.